You're listening to White Noise with your host, Drip, 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 Drip.
I know Banks likes that intro.
Absolutely. How do I get a drop?
You gotta know the right people.
Okay, let me send a text message right now.
Again, shout out to Sham, Lord Vader himself. Shout out to the Mother of Dragons herself, Misuku, Chris Ann of the Black Announce Table. This is White Noise, Year 2. I'm your host, Drip. As always, I'm joined by Cal. And this week, this is a BVD pod White Noise crossover. It's BVD noise this week as
Yuck.
As my brother Banks joins me. So again, if you're not watching us live every Sunday on Banks versus Davis YouTube or Paying the Five, Banks versus Davis on Patreon, this is a little sneak peek of that, what you can expect in a way. We don't talk as much current wrestling on Banks versus Davis. We talk about a lot of old wrestling that we love. Like, remember this crazy show, like this match.
What's old?
Stuff that I'd say stuff before we started podcasting, right? Basically.
So 2012. I mean, what's old?
So anything before 2017, right?
I can go back, but I can't with his age demographic because, bro, I could start going into Bob Armstrong and Luthes. I can go back that far.
I just watched Arn Anderson beat Great Muta ass again for the NWA title, the TV title.
That's what I'm saying. I get it dirt under your nails for real. Like, bruh, I listen to Lords of the Underground for a reason, all right?
Word?
But no, I'm saying, like, we would talk, like,
funky one.
We talked and predicted that AEW won't make it past 2024, which is still, I mean, let's wait and see.
I don't know. I think we lost that bet, brother.
That's crazy.
Hey, I don't know. I every day I'm still like, watch this man burn it to the ground.
2024,
especially now because that no compete clause thing is going on. Nope, we lost that bet.
He's gonna need a scandal or something.
But think about this. Think about like how they stacked a show, and it was a great show on Wednesday, and the ratings are still And the ratings the week before were great. That's where it's like, I don't get like how he can book such a fucking stacked show and the ratings do.
Well, I'll say this. This isn't the topic of the show today, but I will say this. I think people may need to realize that maybe those ratings were at a high and maybe we're kind of leveling to, because it's
the CM Punk effect.
Anyway.
They called him a madman.
Well, he's a loser. We're not gonna bring up him. But also, you gotta think about it's football season right now. The playoffs about to start. Basketball.
It's a Wednesday.
It don't matter. Basketball come on Wednesday, don't it? Like,
I don't know.
When basketball football season start going on, yeah, and then the playoffs about to start. So everybody about to get their low ratings when the playoffs start because the real team is in there. You already know what time it is.
Well, this Cowboys, is maybe that's because one man who wasn't on Wednesday in America was technically
I felt
in
so
Japan
stupid.
On Wednesday was over there. That's Kenny Omega.
I felt so dumb. I wasn't thinking about the date, so I'm like, yeah, of course they didn't have of course they're having the 7th match on the 11th because he's literally in Japan. But and I mean I'm not trying to spoil, but What do
you mean spoil? This is the recap show.
We
didn't really talk about Wrestle Kingdom on Black Wrestling Proper.
Hold on though. Kenny Omega came out. We gonna have to have a conversation about these intros. Kenny Omega's intro, he had the belt collector up there, right? He won the belt that night, right? I'm dead assuming they about to take the titles off the Death Triangle on Wednesday. I don't know how else that ladder match is going to go. I've heard rumblings. Meltzer's been saying that they talking about AEW wants stars to be holding those titles, and I don't think they see Lucha Bros and Pac as the stars. And again, if this man's the belt collector, he probably got. Is he?
I think they do, but they're the stars below the Elite is the thing.
Does he have any other titles right now?
No. Because he lost that AAA title.
He had the okay. I was wondering if he still had the AAA title now. Okay. I'm sorry.
When he started dropping all those titles before the AEW one, finally, like he was making sure like the Impact title's gone, AAA title's gone. That way, when he was the AEW title, he can go on that much needed injury vacation.
This shit is so. I hate it. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry. We'll get to it.
And that was the real summer. You feel me?
Was it?
Yeah, that was the real summer. You feel me? The
Kenny
summer
Omega list summer?
No. 2021 when he had all the belts.
Oh,
that was the real summer.
Why?
He had all the belts. That was no CM Punk type summer, whatever they say, the summer of Punk. Nah, it was the summer of Kenny Omega.
I gotta go back and see what Roman was doing last summer, just to make sure I'm clear.
Same thing.
It went from Cesaro to Edge to John Cena, and then Finn Balor's technically September, but yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah. I like that. That sounds like a better summer to me.
Versus what Kenny Omega beating
Kenny Omega beating up
Orange Cassidy, Christian Cage,
Rich Swann, and all these other people. Yeah, I was over
Sami
that.
Callahan.
That was the thing. Kenny Omega spent all that time in Impact. Nobody see that shit. 4 motherfuckers watch that on Twitch.
Okay, all right. First of all, leave King Trey D alone.
That's how he gets all the matches.
He's the last Impact fan, to be honest. So it used to be Banks, but now it's him.
He's probably the only one I know still talking about it on a regular. Yeah. Anyway, hold on before we get into this recap. Question: should we be talking more about New Japan on the regular?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I think going to be saying. Even though, unfortunately, I said this in our chat earlier. How so I really started watching New Japan right on that Wrestle Kingdom, the famous Okada Omega match. I watched it the night after kind of hearing the hype for it before the match even happened. But after hearing this match they're saying it's the best match ever. I'm like, well, I just signed up to New Japan World. All right, let me see. And that match was great. The matches before it were great. Tanahashi versus Naito, Kushida versus Takahashi, Shibata versus Goto. The whole kind of card was stacked from top to bottom. It's wait, they have again just matches bangers after bangers after bangers. And this is the biggest shows. What's the rest of the year look like? And then you can kind of figure out that they have filler shows. They don't have a weekly TV show like a Raw or SmackDown. They just have these Road 2 shows that lead up to New Beginning or Sakura Genesis, New Japan Cup, Wrestling Otaku.
Is that I'm sorry? Is that what the Battle in the Valley is? Is that kind of one of those?
It's one of one of those filler shows, especially now because New Japan is since the Elite departed to start AEW. They really focused on trying to make it in America without them. So that huge expansion with Ring of Honor being their partner as well, even though Ring of Honor died, they were still hell bent on being in America. Banks can attest because he went to New Japan America show 2021, right?
Yeah, September of 2021.
Yeah,
who was there?
Jay White was there. He had a match against David Finlay. Is Finley's son? Is this David Finlay? Yeah, so David Finlay, he had a match against him that was pretty good.
I would have been
the Tongans was there. The Gorillas of Destiny were there. Bad News was there, if I'm not mistaken. It was a couple other people that were there. Yeah, they showed out. Of course, Okada didn't make it, but he was in Long Beach, which is unfortunate because nobody goes to Long Beach.
Well, I think at the time still, because Jay White missed a lot in Japan during 2021 because he was trying to stay in the States, which is why he did Impact and then went to AEW for a little bit and then went back to Japan because he's not at Wrestle Kingdom in 2021 after the Bushi match that we covered. That's in Banks and I have tried to cover Wrestle Kingdom the last few years. We covered it on 2021, but last year we just did the Okada matches, and we'll get to Okada a little bit later in terms of is this man cooked or is it?
we're gonna have to have a conversation.
I wonder if Cal's thoughts about that too. But with New Japan, you get great matches, simple stories. But if you miss a day on New Japan Cup or G1, you're fucked because because you have to catch up on 6 single matches. You can skip all the filler tag matches. That's a bunch of nothing, but that sets up the next match in the story. And luckily, they've done a great job with American commentary over the last few years.
The commentary was really good on Wrestle Kingdom. That was one of my favorite parts of it, honestly.
But Banks, you've been off and on with New Japan in terms of watching it consistently. You'd be I got to catch up on this show and this show. And I'm always I know there's a match or two that I want to catch up on. But afterwards, I'm just too busy watching all this other wrestling that's happening during the week that I just kind of follows through. But you, for years, have been saying it's your favorite promotion. And it's still the best promotion, even though they've lost stars like Kenny Omega, Shinsuke, AJ Styles, Finn Balor. But what makes it the best to you still?
Well, if you like scaring the hoes, this is why it's the best promotion. That's simply what it is. If you just shoot style wrestling, you watch New Japan, but like you just said, it's hard to keep up because it's like
It's always a new Nick.
It's 5 to 6 pay-per-views a week, and they not an hour. It's like 4 hours. And
It
then
was
you got
6 hours when I saw the fight. I'm like, wait, what?
Yep.
Again, like the pre-show basically is like you can skip that entirely. Like,
You better not skip no Oleg Boltin or whatever, my man.
we'll touch on that we'll have 3 minutes since that was a 3-minute exhibition, but that's it's like they have a bunch of like
some people on the pre-show be going stupid.
Oleg Boltin.
Yeah, the young lions, they do a good job of like building them up. So when you get a Shota Umino who shines in the 6-man tag later in the night, you're like, that's their version of NXT. These guys having these 3-4 minute squash matches that
I like it.
Once they get a gimmick, they come back and either they are flops like Great Okan, which we'll get to a little bit, or they're stars like Shota Umino.
Is that what happened? What's his name? Is that the story they were talking about with Yoshihashi?
Yoshihashi was the guy who just like once he came back, he was just that's what I was trying to find the comparison to, because Ishii is just like Dolph Ziggler. Like they'll never give him the world title, that he'll be the workhorse of the card. Right, Banks? Like it doesn't matter who he faces, it's a banger. But like Yoshihashi is probably more like a guy who's a tier below Dolph Ziggler. Or maybe Yoshihashi's Ishii's more like Cesaro, because even Cesaro didn't win the world title, just like Ishii never won the world title.
Right. You was gonna try to slander the guy Dolph Ziggler. We ain't
no, I was trying to think because I was thinking about this while watching the show, because I'm like, Yoshihashi, they made a big deal about him winning the tag.
They made a huge deal about that, yeah.
And I'm like, the only other person I can think of that someone like that is, I mean,
but I know in the sense of what you mean, just because he doesn't get the single accolades. But
it's someone who they always say like it's not like how Cody Rhodes was in WWE, and I'm not saying that just to slander him, but it's like Yoshihashi wasn't even the equivalent of like IC World Champ. He was just a guy like would put on these decent 3.5 star matches, and people were like, well, if this guy ever takes it up a notch, he could be something. But like he has to face the Okadas, the Naitos, the Tanahashis. Ibushi started to sign with them long term. Then they bring in Zack Sabre Jr. It's that thing where again, like Cody Rhodes is constantly being surpassed. Maybe he'd be like a Zack Ryder even. Maybe that's a better fit. Like I think people like him, but it's like what else is there besides like the basics? Like he's got a good look.
Well, they definitely made it seem like he had like a lot of personality, but he may have been more known for the personality than I guess turned it up recently. But whatever. I mean, I thought the story was cool, but I guess that's the other thing. I know names, but I don't know like I know names, so I knew like the Tamatanga stuff or the Hikuleu stuff, or I have a genuine idea of the white people matches. But some of these matches, like at a certain point, I don't know, and so I don't want to say it's hard for me to get invested, but like it's more just like I hope I can get some story out this match, because I'm just looking at dope wrestling for dope wrestling's sake at a certain point. That's my problem with keeping up with New Japan. I don't know with Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Rampage, Dynamite, whatever's on the darks. If I want to watch Impact, whenever Ring of Honor is going to be coming back, Stardom has their own shit too, right? Like there's so much going on.
GCW,
keeping up with the GCW,
AAA, CMLL, like the stuff in Mexico. There's Rev Pro in England. There's
so much.
Yeah,
there's so much to the point where I need, but it's not. I can't. It's like I need to figure out a way to fit this stuff in, because I think, and we'll get into this a little bit, but the conversations that I'm seeing with people like FTR remind me so much of the conversations I saw with the Miracle Violence Connection, Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams, who were like fucking gods over there in Japan in terms of tag wrestling. And not to say that they weren't in America, but when they came to America and like they had to go up against the Steiners or the Road Warriors or something like that, they look like they're underneath because they're not on the TV. But then you show the footage, because WCW was great with showing the footage of them in Japan. It's like, nah, wait, put these white boys look like they don't like me, but they look like they want to come over here and beat up everybody else. But it's I guess that's the differences in the style that I guess I'm just trying to figure out.
No, because the Steiner brothers, you right about that. But
They
the Steiner
ate over
brothers,
there
when they
too.
go over there, that's where they learned a real working style when they came to WCW in the early. Well, they was already associated or in WCW in the early 90s, but they learned more so going over there, then brought it back over here.
Right.
And that's how they were able to have bangers with Harlem Heat and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they outworked the Nasty Boys, but that ain't too damn hard. Me and Davis could probably do that right now.
Yeah.
Right, especially right now.
And the thing too, like you just said, kind of like these guys that don't look like me, which is why, and we just talked about two legends the other night who fit this bill, because once they went over there, they were the biggest stars, and they came back with the credits, Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow. You know, he was Big Bam Vader, where that gimmick was invented, because he was in Germany prior in AWA a little bit, but that's where he was able to then come to the States as Vader, keep that gimmick, and he was in Japan known as Crusher Bam Bam Bigelow, because they love these, again, since Japan's like guys who are all of a similar stature and size, strength. One guy might be a little bit more like barrel chested, the other guy might be a little bit more leaner.
Right.
But you know, if you have a big monster like Bam Bam Bigelow or Vader, like these giant like creatures, essentially, to be like they're gonna squash our heroes, like they're the villains, but there's something cool about them in the way, whether they're like the Bam Bam Bigelow flame suit or the Vader original suit, where like he had the full mask that wouldn't fit that. I always like that design that he didn't use often.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's just like Brody.
But it's exactly like they liked his like brawling style. He had this wild man look, because in Japan it's all about like it's not to be like stereotypical, but it's about that, you know, strength and honor culture, the strong styles, fighting spirit that Antonio Inoki created, which is why like him and Saito could wrestle for 2.5 hours in the jungle, right? And then, you know, do the same thing, or like arm bars and enziguri kicks, like that mix of MMA and catch wrestling, and then wait until they brought these guys who started to fly, like Jushin Liger and Great Sasuke and Shinjiro Otani, and then they get the foreigners like the Pegasus Kids, and then the Black Tigers and the Lionhearts to then revolutionize wrestling all in general. It's in a way the birthplace of the wrestling we know and love and hate, I guess, if you're some people who hate it today, where it's like guys hit too hard, or they do too many flips, or they're too technical. It's still all the way over there, and this card kind of has that from top to bottom in a way.
Yeah, it definitely mixed a lot of what I did and didn't like about today's pro wrestling, but I think we'll get into. I don't want to sound like I'm too hard on the pay-per-view either, because I definitely enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom, but it's just I just be having questions, man. It just be shit that don't make no damn sense to me.
Well, and the other part, maybe Banks, you agree about this too, is that New Japan will kind of run the same matches a lot. Like how many times will we get Naito Okada? And it's not like necessarily a bad match, but it's that thing of like you have all these other stars, like give these guys a shot, or it's like, oh, it's the third time this year Okada and Naito are having a match. They had one either at like New Japan Cup, then they'll have one at G1. And if one of them is champ and beats the other, that means they get the rematch at the setup pay-per-view. They constantly kind of burn these matches. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of people kind of get recycled for the top spot, or top spot in terms of people who have titles. Like Hiromu Takahashi, who we'll get to, is kind of now the new king of the junior heavyweights. Before that was Kushida before he left, but now he's kind of been surpassed by Takahashi, who's won, I think, 3 of the last 4 Best of the Super Juniors, and is once again champion, leaving Wrestle Kingdom. And we'll get to that too with Okada. Like, there was no way Kazuchika Okada was going to leave Wrestle Kingdom without that title, because they were honoring the late Antonio Inoki, and no way a heel is leaving as champ. I would have bet all I have in the bank, like Eve and Manny, shout to Black and House Table Bets, or what are they calling it, Banks?
Parlays next door. Oh no, worst take.
Oh no, it is parlays next door, and then worst takes. But yeah, I would take their gambling advice, like bet the house on it,
right?
Because I would, even though like it would probably be like so, like I wouldn't even make as much money back. But like that's a lock, Okada winning, and maybe this is that predictable because
it's predictable.
They're afraid to have people who, if Jay White wins, it's not that they hate Jay White, but it's like, you know, the good guy should win now. Like that's the point.
That felt like the story. Wrestle Kingdom last year was not in front of fans.
Partially.
Okay.
It wasn't full attendance.
They were because I asked because they were speaking on that specifically during the Ospreay match, and how, because they were talking about how he had to adjust his style or whatever the fuck him. But one of the moments I liked was in the beginning of the Jay White Okada match, where I don't know why the fans were in I don't know what was supposed to be going on, but like Jay White stops the shit, and he's like teaching them how to cheer for him, and then teaching them how to cheer for Okada, and then he starts talking this shit.
Been his thing the last year. Banks, you can probably attest to this too, that like he'll do the heel thing of like clap for me, which is why he had that great promo where he's just like
say something.
Yeah, he's like, say something, Osaka, speak, use your voices, Osaka.
That shit is cool.
Well, we'll get to Jay White and all that a little bit later. But let's start with kind of match by match, and then
we're gonna talk about Oleg Boltin.
Yeah, because I saw you retweet this. I'm like, oh, this is some real cow shit. Like,
I loved it.
Two men grappling.
Wrestling.
The school of NWA. Like I joke about 6-hour pay-per-views, but like NWA would be like a good 3 hours. And even in the beginning, that's how I learned who Bob Armstrong and them people were. Because at some point, you had to have somebody else have a match, and they would have a banger match.
We got a wrist lock.
But this was
leg lock.
This was more exhibition, though, right? Like they were definitely just going out there. But that man was. I want to see Oleg Boltin do something.
Yeah, he Kurt Angle with neck. Pause.
They talked about him like he's like this guy who was like a legit wrestler, and he showed up there to get started. And so like going the MMA route or WWE, like and then New Japan's done a good job in the last years building American young lions like Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, who showed out in that match at Forbidden Door last year. And then they have some other they have a lot of Australian guys or guys from England too, like Gabriel Kidd and Carl Fredericks was one as well. But that's why they brought it to the U.S. and where someone like Fred Rosser, who we don't talk about too often, is a New Japan Strong champion, and that's where they'll train kind of a lot of these guys to wrestle Japanese style in America. So once they head over there, they know what they can already kind of be receptive from the crowd and know what to expect. Again, that hard hitting forearm, lariat, kick back up, lariat. Like
I loved it. I was a fan. I guess I didn't realize they just announced him at the 50. It was at the 50th anniversary show back in October. He's from Kazakhstan, a 29-year-old who's been wrestling since the age of 11.
Yeah, so he's wrestling them bears like
in the snow. Just all right, let's go and throwing the damn. That shit was ill. I like I don't know if he's gonna be somebody I want to watch pro wrestle on a regular occasion, but I liked seeing that 3-minute exhibition shit. I could have watched another 5 minutes.
Someone who had that similar look, and I think he had the collegiate pedigree, but unfortunately just passed away last year, was that Katsuya Kitamura. He was that super jack guy. He was going to be like Dara Goldberg, and he got released for, I think, steroids, which was obvious if you saw him. Like, he was just insanely jacked. Like, he won the Young Lion Cup over who is Tomoyuki Oka, who's now Great Okan, and it made sense because we'll get to Great Okan. I think Great Okan's just a hack. Like,
he died a couple days after Oleg Boltin was announced.
Holy shit!
Like literally 2 days. That's nuts.
Because they knew, because his heart was trembling. That's why.
Heart failure. Yeah,
it would sound like a 1979 Cadillac. I said, yeah.
That was the opener that 3-minute exhibition. Then we got the New Japan Rambo, which is like their version of a Royal Rumble where people can be pinned, submitted, and thrown over the top rope. This match is just to get everyone who doesn't have a singles match or tag match on the show, kind of the WrestleMania Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Used to do. And the 4 winners of this, because it goes down to the final 4, they have a match the next night to win what is now the KOPW Championship, which is this weird gimmick trophy, which is now a belt where you can kind of dictate the rules of a match yourself.
Oh, really?
I haven't watched too much of it, but I think Banks, you've seen it where it's like you can't go outside it's kind of similar like pure rules, but not really. It's like you can only have one chance outside and then you get counted out. It's every time I've seen it's like you can have multiple pins in a match and like a set time. It's just where they kind of create their own structure. Have you seen a lot of these KOPW matches, Banks?
Yeah, I like that style. They're trying to make it similar to a shoot wrestling match where you know what I mean, scorecard and just you kind of got to stay in the ring or stay in the ring all the way through. Can't go out because it's considered you go
Dragon
out too
Ball?
long. The Cell games, that's actually a good reference right there. So similar to that, you feel me? You better float. Don't go out.
Okada's
the ring get destroyed. Yeah, till the ring get destroyed by Cell, you better stay in there.
Word. That's nuts. Yeah, I didn't realize that what was going on. I saw the KOPW, but I was wondering if Hikuleo was going to win, but he was going to win.
And it made more sense they can't get a mountain too.
He was in it, but the 4 winners were Great Okan, Shingo Takagi, who's just like too good to be in this bullshit, but he was the champ last year and is now the champ after winning the match the next night. Sho and Toru Yano. And Toru Yano is like Santino Marella of New Japan. Make sure you're a fan of Toru Yano.
I like him, man.
I knew you would.
Yeah, I wanted to get a t-shirt in 2021. I never acted on it, but I like him, man. The whole little barcode on the t-shirt and all that. I might still get that.
It's like he would show up, he would like hawk his DVD. He would like in every G1 match, like he's the one guy who gets like the upset victory over someone. Like he'll run out the ring and just go like scream like it's a Benny Hill sketch, and then like he'll tape someone to the ring post and they'll get counted out, and that's how he'll win. It's
take
just
the
like,
guard real off.
Yeah, he'll just like do a whole bunch of like nonsense. He's like their Joker, but Kenta was in this. Some other big names too, like said
some white boys. Who the white boys? Were those a TMDK?
The Mighty O'Neil, yeah, and that'll lead to a little bit later. They were TM61 in NXT. They were a good tag team who I think kind of got squandered. But one of the guys left, which left the Australian white boys wrestling strong style.
That TMDK, I'm not a fan. I don't even know what they're about, but I see them like, yeah, I'm good. Those are the people I'm not supposed to like when I watch the show.
They had El Phantasmo, who I said is like the white version of Chris Bay. They just look like if Chris Bay was white, that would be El Phantasmo. Well, the irony is that they've teamed up together since they're both Bullet Club members, but he eliminated Harnari with a titty twister. Like,
yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts. I was not expecting a titty tweet. Yeah.
Like I mean, it's somewhat realistic because what the fuck you did? Just like let go of the
the selling and that being the reason for the fall was great, but pulling out a titty twister at Wrestle Kingdom.
But that's his whole style. He's this guy who's actually kind of a really good wrestler, but like he'll do like the back rake super long. Him and Sting had like that good exchange during the Forbidden Door 6-man tag at last year. But that's his whole thing. He's this guy who likes to be weird than actually wrestle, and that much means a little bit nothing.
Tune in Tokyo. Is
Next
that an offensive joke? Tune in Tokyo.
We'd have to find out. I mean,
you didn't say Godzilla was gonna stomp on the TV.
Is Tune in Tokyo offensive,
dude? It's not Pearl Harbor. No,
nothing came up, but that's what they used to say.
Tune in Tokyo.
Yeah, back in
the bomb is coming.
Kids, but that's back when people used to call each other African booty scratchers. So maybe it is offensive.
Yeah, that's very much so. I thought you was about to say something else.
You never heard of African booty? You never watched Boys in the Hood?
No, he's 24.
I've seen Boys in the Hood.
He said, "I ain't from Africa. You from Africa? You African booty scratcher?"
What do I always say, Banks? Man, my father said man came from Africa. All men came from Africa.
You never said that to me before about Big
Mike. I've always said that.
No, you've never.
I get my brother shoot
you
in the face.
No, I'm saying that's what Furious Styles tells Strange. Like my dad said, man was created in Africa. All men came.
Is
from
Big
Africa.
Mike Furious Styles?
No,
he gotta be. He gotta be.
He actually might be. We can't talk about it, but he actually might be in a way.
Get your punk ass daddy.
Low key, never mind.
He said, "Get your punk ass brother. I'll get my daddy. At least I got one, motherfucker."
Yeah, that's Furious stuff.
That's Furious right there.
Minus the tattoos.
Oh, he's trying to figure out where his stress balls are.
In that crock pot. What do you put in that crock pot? Me baking pot roast. Because white people love pot roast.
They do. You don't like pot roast?
I love it, but I ain't had no good pot roast in a minute.
You got to go to Drip Pop House.
I'm not eating no pot roast and no drip.
I don't like meatloaf. Is the thing. I don't like meatloaf.
You tripping? Get them out of here.
Meatloaf is gross. Yeah.
You tripping with some hot sauce, some Red Rooster.
Next up, we have the Antonio Inoki 6-man tag match. This was like all the old timers.
Yeah.
Showing that, right? Banks, like you'll love this because it's Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, Togi Makabe defeating Tatsumi Fujinami, who was a legend back in the day.
He had 4 towels on under that robe. He pulled off one like, wait, the fuck he got on?
Minoru Suzuki,
Minoru
Suzuki, who's the only man out of these 6 that can like legit go
still go, yeah.
And Tiger Mask. And I think, and again, this is a 4th iteration of Tiger Mask.
Right.
No, he the only one that can walk because my guy, he be coming out there.
I told we'll get to Keiji Muto a little bit later. I mean, when I do on Geek Show, he was like, I'm not trying to mock him. Like, that's how he be moving. He's like, these knees.
It's
like,
when
they're all 10 then.
every time I saw him run the ropes, he took one step.
Yeah, they got
he hit it. He took one and said,
"This might be my last game, young fella."
And they're all kind of built the same. It's like they have these like bodies that were supposed to be like granite back in the day, and they, unfortunately, like they can't lift them weights or do them squats, as Banks would say. It's like, the neck is cooked. They can just only they had to turn like Michael Keaton Batman. Like, what's going on?
And he was also kind of like he was a little hunched over. Like, I mean, it works with the pose, but he was just, like, even when he stood there, it was always kind of
That's it, man. They wheelchair bound, son.
Yeah, I'm glad he's retiring. He better stay retired.
Yeah. But not
never stay retired.
Minoru Suzuki is the one who just like he takes a chop. He's like, this crazy fuck
with them little feelers he be wearing,
and them Tupac socks, right? Like,
Tupac socks and them slippers.
Jesus, yeah, I kind of whatever with that.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Antonio Inoki, but that match 9 minutes, I was good.
Yeah, it was great because they were all paying tribute to the founder and the legend himself. And
it was good to see him.
An opponent of the past for most of them is the thing. Yeah,
I wasn't expecting to see Minoru Suzuki at all, so it was good. It was good to see him. But next match.
So the first match, and this match was pretty good. This is Catch 22, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champs, TJP and Francesco Akira facing Leo, which is Leo Rush and Yo, and Leo Rush. This poor fucking guy. I've always been a Leo Rush fan. Unfortunately, he's kind of lost a lot of goodwill with a lot of people. I am at times one of those people with the stop and start. Obviously, he goes through stuff and has some bad luck with injuries as well, and being released just to be brought back and released again. But I'm going to stop wrestling and focus on music, and then coming back to wrestling, it's
focus on wrestling, brother.
Yeah.
Well, that's things like you're so great, and obviously he showed up in AEW. I thought that would lead to something. It didn't, and I don't know if that was one of those things where like him and Tony Khan were on the same page, which wouldn't fucking shock me because it's Tony Khan, or if it was Leo Rush being difficult, given that he's had a history in the past, at least on the main roster for being difficult. But again, he was the man that got Bobby Lashley over in a way, right, Cal? Like,
no, and he would. Lashley probably tell you it was him screaming Lashley every week and people hating it.
Lashley!
It made it. It was a point of television.
Banks, you had sent me like the Evan Turner tweet the other day. Like Leo Rush sounding like the way Leo Rush does hold him back, unfortunately. And I'm someone who has a bad voice too. But it's like when you hear Leo Rush talk, you're like, oh yeah, like yeah.
I think, but that's why there's no way to be cool chanting Lashley. No, so I think when you have that shitty voice, it works for the heel manager. You know what I'm saying? Because you just lean into it.
Well, he was the pipsqueak. That's the thing. Like, remember he was like running around as Kevin Owens was chasing him. I think he like completely leapfrogged him and like some slacks and a vest. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
With no socks on. Yeah, he was going ham. He was going ham.
He had a little toddler straight to my feet, Deion Sanders outfit on.
Well, wait. So let me ask a question. Because the morning I woke up, all I saw was this.
Yes,
that happened early.
Like 3 minutes in, I was shocked. I'm like,
because he was cooked for the rest of the match. Like he was done.
Well, he sits out like the next 5 minutes. You can like see it. Like even when he reacts, he's just like, oh no, which would be me in any real match. Like I like what I can like don't touch my body. Like
all them flips. That's what I keep talking about. Y'all be doing all them little flippy.
It's not even a flip. It was like they did
whatever the move they did.
They did the FTR,
but they moved. They be moving too fast.
That whatever that walkway, whatever that shit was, looked crazy.
Kelly said it was like, these are LED lights. What are they doing? He was like, are you stupid? Like,
they slammed his
you
face
must
right
be
on
a stupid motherfucker to like
all them unnecessary spots, and they don't do pops over there. So you gonna get TV pop, but
you're gonna get an internet pop, but the crowd just gonna be like, oh
yeah.
But yeah,
they on my side.
But he comes back and does like his amazing, repertoire of kicks where like he flips this way, he spins that way. It's just insane. And I mean, TJP. Yeah, and TJP, regardless of him as a person, I mean, Banks, you would say like he's from Southern California.
He ain't from you ain't from LA. Stop saying that, bro.
Where's he from?
West Covina. He definitely from West Covina. He from the Inland Empire. He got to stop lying. I seen that 91 tattoo. That's the highway that take you to West Covina. Stop saying you and Scorpio Sky, and I love Scorpio Sky, but stop saying you from LA. You from the Valley, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So he had the 91 tattoo and he had the checkerboard sweat fan because he's also a Vans kid who is, into Kobe Bryant as well. And TJP was
That's how I know he from where he from.
He was a good wrestler in WWE. He won the Cruiserweight Classic, but that's because they couldn't sign Ibushi. They couldn't sign Zack Sabre Jr. They had already eliminated Cedric Alexander.
And they let him go, right? Or what was this situation?
No, they signed him after the tournament. Remember, like Cedric Alexander lost to Kota Ibushi in the second round.
No, I'm saying with TJP though, because he was there for.
Well, he wins the tournament and then he loses like 2 months later to the Brian Kendrick, and then just kind of meanders as on 205 Live, which for the longest time was like the show's still going on. It wasn't until Buddy Murphy came there and became the Kenny Omega of 205 Live that Cruiserweight title started. That's a fact.
I missed that show.
I just hate anybody being compared to that man, but
he was doing Kenny Omega shit. He was doing V triggers, and he was the juggernaut of that division, is what they called him. And then he had the dope.
Boy, he was over there like Vader. He was Vader over there.
That was good. Vader. Drake Maverick made him do the weigh-ins, and it was like, ain't no damn way you're 205. Like, but it was like he kind of cut weight and this and that. Like, you too. Like, I had a friend back in the day. Used to say like, ain't no way LeBron James is 250. He's at least 280. Lying about being 6 foot 250. But Leo Rush was once a cruiserweight champ as well. Once the title got moved to NXT, TJP had already been released, and one of the reasons I think they released him too is like he got all those tattoos without their consent. So like,
the Mickey Mouse tattoos.
Yeah, they put out the action figure and it wasn't updated, but I also think they realized like, this dude ain't for us. And then maybe it was somewhere in 2020 he started like having those. Because of the speaking out movement, he might have some grooming allegations that weren't complete.
No, there were definitely some shit with.
But he also just seems like a shithead too, so it's not
Davis. Yeah, because he from that part of LA.
I know. We've discussed this. The Gilbert Arenases. Who else? I mean,
all these niggas is in a squad. Chaos.
Leo Rush and Yo. Yeah, they're part of Chaos, which is Kazuchika Okada and Bishop Mone, I think, is still part of it. And
Bishop Mone.
And apparently fucking best friends.
Yeah, they're because of Rocky Romero. Yeah.
Let me not say nothing for Keystar yelling.
Don't do it.
But the other part is, and TJP, Francesco Akira Catch 2-2 are part of United Empire, which is Will Ospreay's Bullet Club. Which is because Bullet Club is more like American Gaijin, and United Empire is European Gaijin.
I like that reference.
Wow.
What?
Let me ask you this: you think they cut him? Y'all don't think they cut him because he was doing that dab in 2019?
Can't.
He doesn't do it anymore. But he's still a decent wrestler. But he kind of I think he half-assed this match. Leo Rush and Francesco Akira did all the work in this match, and you could see they could have chemistry as singles champs. That's something I wonder if Leo Rush sticks around, either be junior tag champ or a junior heavyweight title contender. This match was just a solid opener. And Yo was good too. And he was part of Roppongi 3K was show, and then they disbanded that team because you got to break up tag teams.
Well, assuming he's good, because the shots after this were like his whole fucking shit had bandages, and he was in the hospital. So assuming that he's good, I imagine he's going to be around. But
he probably got a concussion.
Yeah, he got to relax. Next time they say, "Hey, take a move on the ramp," no.
But what did we say the other day with Eve Banks? Like, what do they do in Japan? It's about winning and losing. It's about living.
It's that fighting spirit.
Yeah. I don't reference Eve when it relates to any of this type of pro wrestling.
Right.
I don't want to hear his opinion about wrestling.
Some of this shit is.
He disrespected no one because he want to watch these Chip and Dale looking dancers. That's all he want to see is WWE product. Madcap Moss. That's his guy right there too. By the way, everybody.
People rock with Madcap. It's weird.
That's ask Eve about texting right now. But like, Madcap Moss, your favorite wrestler, huh?
Has he said this before on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, look it up right now.
Well, that's because he's looking for a job. I mean, let's just say it.
I'm not gonna text him.
No, just text him right now.
He made. What if he hits me with like some video? Hold up.
Eve. No, you know what type of video he might hit you with, but you can't say it on air.
Don't do that. I heard Madcap.
Are you right? Know what you're gonna say? My brother
was your guy.
Where did you hear that from?
2-2 retain the titles.
We'll see.
Which is one of the many title retentions of the night, because the next match is Kairi defending the IWGP's women's title against Tam Nakano. This was a short match.
Super squat.
I was surprised. She's not.
Her backhand is ill.
But twice, like I always liked Kairi Sane in WWE when I didn't know much because unfortunately I never really caught up to Stardom while I was watching New Japan. There's like, well, again, women don't wrestle New Japan, but they have their own promotion, so like don't think it's some like women aren't allowed to wrestle. It is sexist, but it's not like they don't have it's not like they can't wrestle. They just have wrestling for them. It's like
but I'm assuming that having an IWGP women's title.
I think within the last,
it seems like they're coming together,
years,
right?
They've now heard the criticism finally, like how ass backwards it is in terms of like, not that women belong in the kitchen type stuff, but like let's let the women in the company like
make.
They look crazy. They look crazy not doing it with so many ill women out there.
Well, that's what it was. It's like, how can the best women's wrestling take place in Japan, but not be part of the particularly what's called the best company? The company that's won promotion of the year how many times in a row, according to Dave Meltzer, but.
That makes sense.
And this is where, again, Japan's how we got Asuka, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane when she was there, Saray, who's in NXT now, and people talk about today with like the AZMs, the Julias, the Dark Starlight Kids, like the best women's wrestlers that aren't seen over in America or Canada, Mexico, and North America are still in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to search out to find it.
That's where like
Joshi wrestling, I should say.
Yeah, Tony Storm and them. Like there was like Stardom has had a lot of people.
Yeah, Jamie Hayter again. Yeah. Like, the reason Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida, and that's the AEW was getting kind of not the lesser women, but they were like, unfortunately, they weren't able to get after WWE was scooping up the Asukas, Io Shirai, Hikari's. Like AEW once they started, like, oh, we got to get the C team kind of because the B team is going to stay in Japan, where they'll now be the A team because the top stars left. It's that thing where like, and that's why they try to form these relationships with these companies like DDT and I guess New Japan now. And we'll get to this in a way is Mercedes Mone.
I'm sticking with Monet. I think that's what the song.
Yeah, because she would just
Monet. But the dude said money. The announcer said Mercedes money. And then the guy immediately says Mercedes Monet, and I'm like, yes, I'm going with Monet.
I do love when they'll say it in Japanese first, and the announcer will then go to English like. Zack Sabre Jr. like straight to the chase, like Jay White.
I don't. All right, this is probably a good time to talk about it because they got. I don't know how long that ramp is. It's a long ass ramp. that hall that stadium's got to be like super ridiculous huge when you're there. I would love to go one day.
That's the thing. BBD takes Japan is sometime. In the future-ish, we still have to go to London. But,
I go to London. I ain't never coming back, so let's wait on that.
That's the thing. Money in the Bank. Well, Money in the Bank's in London this year, so that's when we're going to the
O2.
We're heading to the ends to see some
I don't
teams.
think people really because I've seen a lot of UK because the O2 is not that old. I remember covering music in the UK.
That's how the UFC blew up is because they were constantly at the O2 because
that O2 is WWE there. I don't know how it's going to look on screen, but it feels like it's a different experience. I would love to go. So they've got like 5 or 6 tall vertical screens. They've got like 4 horizontal screens on top of those. You got the lights on the ramp. Sometimes it's a movie, sometimes it's Japanese characters, sometimes it's just wind. The thing is, if you don't have a Monday, it's like that song got hit.
She's basically like just doing like a sensual dance. It's like, well, what's going on here? And then it's like,
but and
then she has
we talking Will Ospreay. Somebody played a piano for like 2 minutes with the lights off, and then when the song dropped,
the entrances used to be
so whack. It's him. It's 6.
They've stopped
that shit is so whack.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Like when I would watch old matches, they like for Wrestle Kingdom, they would go out for these entrances in some way. Like Kushida showed up with like the DeLorean because he was the time splitter,
right?
There was that one time where like there was a mini Kushida, then like that smoke hits and comes out real Kushida.
When was this?
That was around like 2016, 2017 range. Like they maybe dialed it back because
I was going to say, was that some? That was some of the last ill ones.
That's what I'm trying to think. Like even like Kenny Omega would do like he produced like that Terminator homage before the first Okada match.
I like the one wing.
That's still them trying.
I liked the way he interacted with his entrance. I'm not a Kenny Omega fan. This was probably
shit, Cal.
But what I'm saying is this Wrestle Kingdom 17 is probably the one time where I've been like, damn, I liked what he did.
Well, it's better than like when he was trying to reinvent himself as the guy in AEW. They just had women come out in jazzercise suits and sweep the fucking ramp.
That whack.
Man, you corny. Like
it seems like a lot. Like the entrance shit can be cool, but a lot of this shit just seems whack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they don't really try it big. And they have this amazing building in terms of the Tokyo Dome, and even when it's filled, it looks amazing. But like you can kind of see, like, again, there's probably still restrictions in Japan with COVID, like. So you see like their whole back row where those screens are located, no one's allowed to sit there. Maybe that's why the ramp's a little bit longer. Maybe that's why there's so much space on the outside.
I mean, if you like, it's no different than when I went to Full Gear. I mean, shit, they had that their entrance, that back section was blocked off too. So
think how many people have special interests in the AEW too. Like the only one who really does it well, it's not just favoritism. It's Ricky Starks. He does those great pre-roll videos and then comes out, but like no one else really has like a grand epic entrance in AEW. Or
I do also like, because I guess, and I don't know if this is a New Japan thing or if it's because it takes so long to get to the ring, but by the time they get to the ring, they get to do their little like Carl Anderson with the machine and like some of that shit is cool, but you got to be a cool motherfucker to pull that off, because even this shit with Kenny Omega, like it I guess it was probably cool the first time, but I've seen it so often I don't go, like, I could care less about that. I like the one winged part. His entrance was cool. A lot of that shit was whack though. Him and Monday.
But she comes out again. It takes her a while to walk that ramp. Then she just does a lot of posing. She suckers Kyrie in and then doesn't hit her finisher. I mean, which I said the other day, like, we gotta stop with these complicated setups to just a DDT. Like, I don't need you.
Yeah,
it's literally a DDT.
Just do the gory bomb. Like, just pay the tribute, or like do it in a way where it's like I don't have to rely on you spinning correctly for me to hold you. It's like overcomplicated finishers don't matter.
Start the Tom and Jerry's type stuff just to get the finisher off. And
when she hits it though, when they get it,
I don't think she'll be able to hit it. That's the thing. After this, and if this is Kyrie saying, like, who's, again, it's on her, everyone's saying, but like if it's on her, who's one of the, again, top 10 women wrestlers in the world, then it's going to be on everyone else too.
Yeah, well, because
she can hit it in training where she can take her time. It's like I
was gonna say, like, you're gonna, because
it's too complicated. It's
either Mercedes was moving too slow or Kyrie moved too fast. Now, if it's an idea where Kyrie just has to adjust the speed of something tells me though, when Mercedes hits it, if she hits it with Kyrie, the rest of the pro wrestling world is going to have to study what Kyrie did, because you're not going to make it look any better unless you're better than Kyrie Sane. But you're also going to have to get that timing right, because it feels like all Mercedes got to do is, once she lifts you up and goes for that turn, she's just going to sit in DDT position. You throwing yourself into the DDT.
She's got to throw you. That's why it's just like,
it's a lot.
Like, what was wrong with the bank statement? Like, are you just going to stop doing that now? And I get you want to try something different, because now these are women who are of your stature, even a little bit smaller. Like, you couldn't try to do that on Nia Jax or Charlotte or Dana Brooke, who might not be the most coordinated.
Should she have done the bank statement and then saved whatever finisher for the match?
Yeah. Well, she always like the backstabber as like the setup, so she could just done that instead. Like, Kyrie shakes her hand, turns away, and then she hits her with the backstabber.
That's but I'm saying, like, do not even introduce the move. Do kind of like how Jericho did when he introduced the Judas effect. Be like, yo, I'm working on this thing. When I pull it out, it's gonna. I'm saying, like, if she was able to with the month and a half that
said,
she has,
I'm 50 years old. I need something that's a lot easier to do.
But what I'm saying,
I'm gonna turn and hit you with another. Meanwhile, Andrade for the last 4 years was like, bah, 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 like knocking dudes out with the quickness.
I'm not saying 1-to-1 though, Drip. I'm just saying the video that we saw from Wrestle Kingdom, it did not look good. The video that they have from the training,
Mainly
it didn't look.
She never invented it.
It didn't look 100%. What I'm saying is, Wrestle Kingdom, you don't debut the new move. You hit them with something familiar. You play the hits.
No,
then
because you have to show like you're someone new. That's the whole point. Like the hair, the name, the music. Like she is now someone new. And I still haven't listened to the press conference she had after.
World tour.
She had said like this is a world tour. She's a CEO. She's coming to make money and win
she was going
titles, right? Like so it's like she's showing she's someone new. Whether you
like her or
not.
I get it, but if the new devastating finisher ain't ready or you ain't hitting it 100%, because what we ain't talking about a lot of other stuff. This is the second time we've had a conversation about is she going to be able to hit this convoluted finish. I wish she had kind of chilled until
because what else did she say? She said what we all expect her to say, like she's coming here to win that title and she'll be facing her next month and then she'll be doing other things.
Do y'all want to see her take that title?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
We got to see exactly what she's going to be doing the next couple months or years from now, however long she plans on.
I get
being independent.
With the idea of being on a world tour, maybe she might not be able to defend it as often because she may not be in Japan.
Exactly.
What about you, Drew?
That didn't stop them from and COVID kind of got in the way, but that didn't stop them from giving Jon Moxley the U.S. title. Again, they just gave Kenny Omega the U.S. title, but I think that has an end date, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But they can give her the title, and again, she can have matches in the States and show that again, New Japan in America matters just as much as New Japan proper. Like
two things I noticed: one, the New Japan Pro Wrestling America account on Twitter. I didn't no idea that existed. And two, the New Japan Global on Instagram sharing black people memes. Like, I don't know who's working over there, but they got some kid that's younger than y'all working that Instagram. And it's specifically to talk to people like me who are fans of pro wrestling, but may not know what New Japan is, but and need some.
But you would check out like the New Japan, like the first year of BRP. You talked about
we watched,
and then the next year when it was Omega, Jericho, again, like you would try to check in. And since I've been on, that's why White Noise again was invented, because it's like Jay White just lost in this 58-minute match, and they said he's going to go to WWE potentially. Like, can you imagine that? And what happened? Not a goddamn thing.
Well, that's a timeline, state timeline. But
I think he legit thought about it. It was like, well,
never mind.
I'll wait and see.
I before we get to anything else, I did like the I like this. I like their face off, but I liked Kairi Sane's the backhand as being the setup for her elbow drop. I don't know. People talk about CM Punk, all these other people currently doing.
Oh, it's hers.
Her elbow, because she doesn't even do it's more natural because instead of trying to hit somebody who's laying horizontal, it made more sense for her to drop her elbow while they're laying I don't know. It's just the setup is way iller. I hope her and Mercedes have
her legs stick up. It's like if she's kind of locked in a position, dropping down. I think Banks would say Max Caster has a great elbow drop as well.
He's trying to drop it on MJF.
But yeah, no, I mean, Kairi Sane also has a good spear. Like she kind of invented like that good
that was a good spear. Yeah, that was a good
spin out
spear.
when you spear. But yeah, that backhand, she was
ill
once, and then she said, "Get up again," and then just because she wears that like dope kind of glove.
That white shit on it. Yeah. That Roman Reigns shit.
This is my hidden hand.
The facts. She probably just dips it in
while being the princess of the pirates or the queen of the pirates, which is
she goes back.
Her entrance. She had like the Grim Reapers coming out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
this ain't got nothing to do with pirates.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's just she dips it in like gold, like liquid gold or something when she gets back, just to keep that shit nice and ready for the.
Now, when you say that. And dipping in, substances, I thought you was about to say Keith Murray be doing that every day.
Keith Murray said, "So I eat the pussy. She give me head. And did you watch that, Drip? Did you see any of Keith Murray talking about
who the fuck is Keith Murray?
Get him out of here. Yep, see, that's what I'll be talking about. Get him out of here, bro.
I am a. What did George Wallace say? You are white.
He is white. He is.
I wish
white.
I wish the old heads was on here. The older.
Yeah, no.
What do you mean? You think Fam and Math would be shocked by that?
Nobody.
He ain't no shit. Like,
I don't think anybody could be shocked. But well, I'm trying.
He ain't no shit.
Like, if Keith Murray,
get him out of here. Get him out of here.
If Keith Murray's biggest hit
Banks.
was the most beautifulest thing in this world. I can't think of a situation where Drip would have ever heard Keith Murray rapping the most beautifulest thing in this world.
Bro, you ain't never heard yeah, you know it. That was 21 years ago, but still, you ain't never heard that.
Wasn't he explained it? Yeah, can you repeat the question? You were just like answer the question I'm about to answer for you because you won't know the answer. Like,
was Keith Murray was on the special delivery? You never heard the special delivery remix, Drip? Special delivery.
He don't know who G Dep is and Black Rob RIP.
Ludacris is on it, right?
Cal, I am white.
It was Face. It was Ghostface. Murray. It was all the Def Jam people, basically. It was.
I know people think I'm not white, but I mean, look at this. Look at what I said. Look at these pristine white hands. Like,
Jesus Christ, how do we even? What's the next match?
This I'm not gonna lie, because I was watching this laying in bed. In this match, I started to yawn about 2 minutes in, and this is Bishamon versus FTR. This match started, let's have a conversation. And I was already like, I'm like, how stereotypical. I'm like, it is almost 10 o'clock. I am a little bit tired. It's been a long week, but I mean, like, come on, like,
melatonin match of the year.
Wrap this shit up, B. Wrap it up.
It was
I went straight past this match.
Well, it's one of those things where Stevie Wonder, everybody, there's no way. Again, and I love this image, Drip.
Wait, here, what's this? Wait, what's the Stevie Wonder part? Kind of.
Well, in terms of like everybody could see that FTR has been on. If Sasha Banks is going on in a world tour, they've been going on, the greatest misses tour. Like they're everything that they've won, they're just losing. They got beat by the Briscoes. They went down to Mexico.
Team in the world.
They went down to Mexico and lost the belts, and then they
lost the belts to a man who said right after, "I'm splitting."
I don't need this belt,
even though I just won this shit, and then they lost it again. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto, yeah, Bishamon.
Man, look,
Bishamon.
That's their name.
That is their name, Bishamon.
Let me look it up for translation to see what it means.
This was when
that means they losers. That's what they mean. FTR are losers.
When I started watching this is when I started thinking about the Terry Bam Bam Gordy's and because you're talking 30 years ago. Little me would be at home watching and what little
30 years ago.
92.
You mean 50?
No. Miracle Violence Connection. They were running Japan. And because I watched the match, it was from 92. They came back from Japan and they had a banger with the Steiners on TV. But this was what they might have had. They were in All Japan, I want to say, and because at one point they had one of the NWA. It might have been one of the NWA tag titles. They were running shit, and I was thinking about them when I was looking at FTR walking out, and they're telling that story.
The irony is FTR are the vanilla M words that.
The what?
You know what I mean? Like they're short guys.
N-words.
M.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say
FTR. Like
he didn't say Edward. He wasn't.
FTR
he wasn't
are the
Edward.
short guys that.
Go ahead, say it.
That Stan Hansen and Terry Gordy be like, I'll wipe my ass with you. Like the fuck.
What can you? But I mean,
no, it's right. But they want to again. They want to be these Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard types. It's like you're 5 foot nothing.
But the thing is,
I'm sorry, Cal. They ain't even better than Tully Blanchard.
Today,
ever, and I never liked Tully.
What's the because let's talk about it.
Who had was it Eve who said that ain't no one trying to see Tully Blanchard, right? Like
it's facts. His daughter better than her.
But there was a time where Tully Blanchard was number 2 in the Horsemen, though. He was
I think
he was a champion.
No, I think 1 and 2 are always Rick and Arn, no matter what. Because I think in hindsight, people are like, "Damn, Arn Anderson."
That's not how it was, though.
Because when there's 4 of us,
but remember, at that time, Tully Blanchard was probably.
They try to make Tully Blanchard seem like the bigger deal. I think history is kinder to Arn Anderson, though.
Well, also, too, you got to think about where they were in what city during the territory days. Like, they would work the South, yeah, but it'll be like Arn to be over in Georgia, obviously, because that's where they mostly was based at. And then North Carolina, he would be over as well. But then it'll switch. Like, totally, you'd be that number 2 guy, like Cal about to say.
But the thing is, he'd be the number 2 guy as a 3-time world television champion. As a United States heavyweight champion,
like the TV title is secondary to the U.S. title, which is the title below the world title.
But what I'm saying is, Arn Anderson was a 4-time TV champion. That's the only singles title he held. Everything else was tag championships. At a certain point, Tully Blanchard was looked at as a better performer, and I'm talking. This is like 86, 87. Arn Anderson was cutting those promos, but Arn Anderson was, until he was cutting the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse and all that stuff, he was just a dude with the ill sunglasses who looked like he was the one that was going to pull out the gun and be the last person you see before your life was over. And then after a while,
I'll pull this trigger and make you bleed. Like, that's the shit he would.
Yeah, realistically, if you want to be real about it, what happened was Tully was probably the number 2. And Arn was number 3.
Even though Arn Anderson seems like a knife guy, like that's still.
No, we don't. He seemed like a gun guy.
He looked like one of those, like the Iceman, like those mafia hitmen.
Yeah, again, like the guy who's got the knife in the boots. I'm like,
they left.
You want to dance?
I can go all night. No, they left to go to WWF and be the brainbusters with Bobby Heenan for a hot cup of coffee. When it was time for them to go back to the NWA, I don't think Tully went black. I forget what Tully did, but Tully didn't go back. There might have been some situation where he couldn't go back.
He tested positive for coke.
I thought it was a coke situation. Okay. I didn't want to speak out of turn.
The booger sugar.
So what happened was Arn Anderson came back. Ole was around for a bit, but Ole was old. So Ole took the J.J. Dillon spot, which put Arn Anderson in the number 2 because it was him and Rick. And then that's when they would slot in Romas and the Sids and all these other people. That and even before that, because
there's also the heat that Dusty Rhodes had with Tully Blanchard anyway, about like Tully Blanchard would say but Dusty, we should just book Dusty at the top. There was like a whole lot of like, because that was a fact given, and no wonder his son turned out the way to be.
Well, that's how you always do it. I mean, the man at 3 H's, if he could work, he'll do the same thing right now.
What do you mean? He was doing it when he wasn't working. Was it like
but now more so than ever he would.
I don't think Booker T.
So after this, this was the last title that FTR had to lose. So they're now titleless. So they're off TV for a bit.
And I've been praying for their downfall.
It's because they got a match with the Ass Brothers,
the Gun Boys.
Yeah, the Gun Brothers, the Ass Gun Boys.
The
Billy Gunn clones, because they look just like that dude. Especially
they do.
Boys.
The
genetics beat your ass.
The tall one, yeah, the tall
one.
But
so they fight the Guns. Do they lose to the Guns and we don't see them for a bit?
I will laugh hysterically if that happens.
I'm assuming that's happening.
No, they're gonna put them over, and then one of them's gonna go to his podcast because everyone's gotta have a fucking podcast.
He already started it.
That's why I'm retiring. Go ahead.
You gonna produce the FTR podcast?
That'll be the last thing I ever do in my life, sir.
And real quick, Bishamon is a Japanese Buddhist deity. It's also the 7 gods of luck. He's depicted as dressed in full armor, carrying a spear, which is kind of like the way Hiroki Goto is always kind of dressed a certain way, like his robes, and Yoshihashi's always carried.
Bro.
Yoshihachi's always kind of carried a staff. There's, I think, like some of these. I like that shit. I always think it is kind of harder for, again, Americans to like watch New Japan. Like, unless they're really into anime, it just like looks really cartoony. Like, if you're not expected to know, like, oh, like, look at how Tam Nakano and Kairi Sane are dressed. Like, there's a whole bunch of like flying tassels and like it's like, is this the dark? Is this a Dark Magician's sister come to life? Like that?
That shit was hard. That shit looked like what's those games like Shadow Warriors? What was the games on PlayStation?
Soul Calibur?
You just run around. Nah, it was like these old
Dynasty
like feudal
Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors. These feudal.
Well, that Dynasty Warriors actually existed because that was like real. Again, like
that's what it looked like though. That's what it looked.
Yeah,
they had.
That's what I've always liked about Hiroki Goto. That he has that old school like. Look.
Let me see if I can buy that right now.
I was
Y'all
gonna
got
say,
me think about that
is
either.
Dynasty Warriors on Nintendo? I will buy this motherfucker if it's on Nintendo Switch.
I don't know about the Switch. I know it's on Xbox and PS4 though.
Dynasty. I saw I played. I gotta play. It's what's the price?
Oh no, it's gonna be expensive. Them games, they always expensive.
$109 for the deluxe edition.
Yes, sir.
What
Because they
is in
still
that?
sell. That's why they like on Dynasty Warriors 20. They still sell.
What is in the deluxe edition? It's set including deluxe items. 6. Are you fucking shitting
Yeah,
me?
and it's selling. That's why they're not gonna lower the price.
DLC. This is old. So for almost $110, I get a bunch of old DLC and 6 gems.
Mm-hmm. It's just like Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring just got on sale, but Elden Ring for the longest was not on sale.
Where do they have?
I'm sorry,
Dynasty?
Davis,
I'm sorry, Drip.
No,
We're getting into some beige noise right now.
Do y'all got Dynasty? It's only 8 and 9.
Yeah,
Oh, whack. Anyway, I had that game. You just sit there.
No, your show has to be called
killing
Beige,
200 people.
Beige Rage.
Facts.
You just have to own it, Banks. Like
That shit was
no,
hard.
no. Beige Rage is different. That was him and Cody, which was one of the
Rage
funkiest
in the
things in
Beige
history.
Cage. Like
Rage in the bit.
Rage against the beige.
Beige against the machine. Like
Yeah, there we go. Hey, that's my band name. Let me write that down.
should I even be saying this like this? Like that kind of.
I don't.
The reason why we beige.
It gets. How about that? How about that?
I can't help what I like.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth. But yeah, at a certain point, it may be a little too
You
much.
tell them that you be telling me that they be liking me. So like, what do I?
Speaking of people that you
What I wanted to say is that again, like, so which of these I didn't watch the Drilistico Dragon Lee match against FTR in AAA this past.
I've not seen that one either, but
I was trying to get to it, but I was just like, no, I can't.
Bro,
I
told you. I still ain't watched Noah. I'm about to watch.
No, but
I gotta watch Noah too.
And I was trying to work on something at the same time, and
You
just
got jobs, people.
It's too much going on. And again, I told you on the pod, there's a bunch of people in my house and shit. I'm lucky I got through Wrestle Kingdom.
That
you said,
pipe, yeah.
But wait, the big crack pipe.
What?
But you got to watch the show. You got to watch. So wait, are you saying which one of these matches is the best?
I think. Oh, I was going to say, like, regardless of, because this one was the short 10-minute match. There was the whole story that Dax Harwood had a late flight, like a delayed flight, kind of like barely got to the arena in time.
Right.
Fool, you supposed to be there 3 days in advance when you.
Well, he's got a podcast to record, Banks.
Wow!
This microphone doesn't move at all.
He's got Bret Hart matches he needs to watch.
That's crazy.
Cal, you don't have a laptop, you read.
Wait, no. Say it, Drip. Say it.
Did you see him go at Chris Bay for the? I was like, Chris Bay.
You didn't see it. All right, so somebody was talking to Chris Bay about Bret Hart. They mentioned something about Bret Hart.
No, he had said something about Shawn Michaels being better than what he's like. What about Bret Hart? And Chris Bay's like, I never found Bret.
He
Hart
quote tweeted. I
never found him entertaining. Yeah.
He quote tweeted. He said, and I'm still never gonna watch a Bret Hart match.
And the audacity of Dax Harwood would be like, bruh, tell me you're joking. He said, bruh, you're joking, right? And I'm like, this Peckerwood ass boy. It did not just say bruh, because I can kind of get away from bruh.
No, he called Chris Bay boy.
Yeah.
He definitely said that.
But in his head, when he's like,
no, he said it when he got off that Twitter.
And then Chris Bay shot for owning. He's like, next match, maybe I'll do a sharpshooter or a Scorpion Deathlock. Actually, I was like,
shut Chris Bay.
Like,
dude, Chris Bay is 20. He your age, right? 26, 27.
Yeah, he's a year younger than me.
He's trolling. He stayed trolling.
Yeah, he's trolling, but he probably serious.
But he did a great.
He's probably serious, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, but he did a good thing. Like if what do you say? Like if I lose my next match, I'll do a live stream of me watching Bret Hart matches. Like he was just owning it.
He got to lose because that's gonna be hilarious.
He's smart. No, he's smart.
It'll be like, you see this shit?
I will say,
see this shit? Like John Mulaney, you see this Home Alone 2 shit?
Real quick, my fault, Cal. They the Sting kids as well. I'm a Sting guy. I'm a Stinger.
Like oh yeah, right. The sharpshooter. I think it's Steve Borden.
Well, but even outside, because Chris Bay's Sting is probably Joker Sting. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a big impact.
Well, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, that's the only time he was weak. I liked it, but it was the only time like,
whoa, when he was going.
Sting said Joker Sting is the closest thing to his real persona.
Well, he's 26 again.
He's a reformed coke addict. I mean,
hey, bro, that was like 98. Relax.
I'm telling lies.
He said he was doing.
He said he was doing them. He was taking them pills with Lex Luger. He was.
Yeah, he said it could. He said if he didn't find Jesus Christ, he would have been with him.
Him and Luger.
He would have went down the same road.
Him and Luger found Christ, bro. Don't do that.
All right, let's move on. But again, like I think regardless,
Luger
everyone's gonna say that match with the Briscoes, that dog collar match is probably the best of these three losses. What are the best of these three wins? So they're gonna probably be that first match with the Briscoes, because that three-way title match at Forbidden Door when they played up the Dax Harwood might be hurt, his shoulders out. He might got he coming back down that ramp. Look at him go. And I didn't even see when they beat.
Why you sound like Jeff Hardy right now?
That's because Jeff.
Do they always do the little ice packs?
Yeah.
After the match?
Yeah. That's the only thing you get. You don't get
you get tape and ice packs and the cold spray.
He poured the beer on the shit.
And that's why Kazuchika Okada is a dead man walking right now. Like
Davis texted me earlier. He was like, they don't have advanced medicine. I said, because
why haven't they bought like LeBron James wears those like leg sleeves? You know what I mean?
That
like
costs $1 million. That's why, literally.
They make $1 million. It's fucking Japan.
They don't do the tape.
Don't they make this shit? I'm not gonna go that far, but don't they make?
No, that's China, bruh.
Yeah, it is China.
You never know.
That's racial.
What did Black Bush say? Japan sending PlayStations.
That's made in China too.
Are they?
Stakonia sending bombs over Baghdad. Like
you can finally, shouts to Donnie Luch, you could finally buy the PS5s direct off the site.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I just saw he
wanted one.
He wanted it. He tweeted it, and I had to look.
Football comes out. That's when I'll get the PS5 when NCAA football comes out.
See you.
Get an Xbox. I converted ETH over to get an Xbox. Come to the winning side, brother.
All right, but yeah, FTR 0 for 3. That was shout out to Keeks Mikorazone. That was her tag team of the year.
Yeah, I sat in this very seat, people, and I almost walked off the entire show.
With
I said,
tears.
"Are you kidding me?"
But
then everybody say them titles don't matter. But then they matter when FTR got them. I'm confused.
I'm gonna say they don't matter anymore because they don't have them titles.
Hey, they were the 9. I like the way they let you know, like, because FTR now I know they're the 96 IWGP tag team.
That's
champions.
always the best part of New Japan's presentation is the amount of title holders before. And what sucks about this new World IWGP Heavyweight title is that they don't do the montage that they used to. Like if you watch Wrestle Kingdom from 2017, 2018, they had like it's Inoki, Fujinami,
all the old champions.
It's like a montage of all the guys who have had the belt. Fucking Scott Norton was an IWGP World Heavyweight champ, and then it ends with the current champ, who was Okada at the time.
Okay,
and it'd be like their reigns factored into that. The way they present it, again, what Tony Khan I think tried to do, like these stats, or WWE with the Fox like signature move, blah blah blah. Japan kind of has that mastered because again, it's King of Sports. They treat it like a sport. They cover it like a sport in the newspaper. Even though these people have the gimmicks of like a man who wears a mask, who's kind of a mariachi guy when Elvis brought up. He's fucking badass. We'll get to that later. FTR, good riddance. Go off and fucking go back to WWE.
Whenever y'all ready. Hey,
they probably won't now with Vince McMahon being back in charge. They'll be
Bailey had on the FTR jacket.
God,
hey, that's what I want to say. Which one got the hair? Which one?
Cash
hair?
Cash's FTR hair.
You stay on.
Oh yeah, that came out this week, right?
FTR hair and FTR bald was funny. I'm sorry.
Okay, the one with the hair, the jabroni. I don't like how he had his hand.
I do.
On my woman.
That there is my girl.
Speak no habla español, pal. See, I speak it. You don't know what to do with no San Jose woman.
So that was his jacket she had on.
You don't know what to do with no Bay Area woman. I do.
Is he married?
Yeah. It don't matter.
But
it don't fucking matter.
Yeah, their reign of relevancy. I'm thinking like everyone was bragging about how it was great that they were holding all these titles. Apparently, even though I have New Japan World, I'll probably be canceling soon. They did have that good match with Aussie Open. Everyone said I didn't check that out. Where they killed it in England.
I like to stay awake, Davis. You notice that?
That's the thing. Like every time I try to watch FTR, I'm like, oh my god, like
I don't want to see the AAA match, but I'm gonna tap in just so it keeps on.
It's Dragon Lee. It's realistic. Like I want to watch. I want to watch. Always that the thing with FTR, and that's what I've said before. Like why I think they're overrated is like who do they face? Great fucking tag teams. American Alpha, great fucking tag team. DIY, great fucking tag team. And the matches of what we said, like the New Day and the Usos, it was like, like Who remembers
Best
those
friends
reigns?
better than them.
I will say this though.
Yeah,
I will say this. Because that was what, like 4 years ago, 3 years. How long ago was
4 or
that?
5. Yeah.
The Usos for 5 years ago. This is different Usos.
No, because the Usos and the New Day had the great matches with each other in 2017.
But listen what I'm saying though. Again, I've spent the last 6 months in cage match. You know what I'm saying? The Usos, their number. They are, if Bianca wasn't the champion, the Usos would be the number one thing in the just because of how much they're wrestling. Drew McIntyre is not wrestling as much as he has been house show wise. The Usos have been putting in the work, and it shows. I think, and Jay Uso from 2020 to right now, he's not the same guy from 5-6 years ago. I think the Usos as a team are better than they were then. I would like to see FTR come back to WWE and have that match.
So they can get outworked.
Let's
Alpha
see the
Academy
match.
Outworking them.
I don't know nothing about that. I do not.
Otis has slept on. I always like Otis has slept on as a worker.
Chad Gable will shoot on them.
Chad Gable's
Chad Gable's an Olympian. I don't think the team of Alpha Academy is
going to be chops and fists.
I don't think they're wrestling circles around FTR. No, I don't think they're wrestling circles.
They can. Chad Gable did it with Jason Jordan.
And Otis is a big ass comedy act.
No, but he could work.
What's big man stuff? Let me ask you a question. Outside of the Money in the Bank Mandy Rose program, which was ass, what's the best thing to happen to Otis on WWE programming in the last 5 years?
Teaming up with Chad Gable, showing you can wrestle.
No, getting carried on the back by Bianca Belair. That's the most memorable shit that anybody's ever seen him do.
Because you're envious.
No, just because
we all are.
It's great that Alpha Academy gets to be on TV and Otis is still here. Remember, he's lucky to still be here. If it wasn't for them picking him up for that shitty ass Miz program, he would have been out on his ass with Tucker too.
Tucky.
Hey, where is Tucker? Yeah, where is Tucky at?
Gone. Was he wrestling ever since?
No, I ain't. I seen 2 matches. He had that taco meat on his chest, and I ain't seen him since.
I don't. American wrestler. Let's see.
Halfway through, I wanted to be like, "Hold up!" like that. But hold up.
He's done nothing. The last thing that he has was getting released in April 2021. August of 2021, he was on the judging panel for the Kip Clips wrestling promo competition via the Kip Clips YouTube channel. I don't know. I don't think this man is doing anything else in pro wrestling though.
No.
He got a regular job, which is fine because what I mean.
Hey, maybe
people talking about the CDL thing. I'm about to get mine. That's
I think we're gonna say these people on the indies have a regular job and think they're something when they're not.
Is he wrestling under a different name?
He might just quit.
Levi Cooper, but he still has. He was wrestling for Defy. He was wrestling for Defy. He wrestled for Defy all last year. 7 matches in Defy throughout the year. The last one was right before her Halloween. Okay. He ain't doing much.
Hey, you know who better than them? My fault, Davis.
No, go ahead.
Almost. He better than FTR.
All right. First of all, Otis had a good match with Tommaso Ciampa when Tommaso Ciampa was champ in NXT that summer. Like, look up that match on Peacock. Run that one back.
He had a great match with a great pro wrestler. I mean,
that's all FTR.
I'm saying it sounds the opposite of what you were saying earlier.
So everyone's like, who can't have a good match with the Lucha Bros, huh?
That's what I'm like, right. I'm like, yeah. Like, if somebody got to carry you.
Wait. So
we're moving on. No,
one final question. So you're telling me CM Punk carried Dax Harwood in that singles match?
Yeah. And I don't even like CM Punk.
Smoking crack. CM Punk wouldn't tell you that Dax Harwood carried him in that match.
Yes, he would, because it's CM Punk. He's a liar.
No, he wouldn't, because they're Bret Hartman and they're men of fake honor, which means they are liars.
Don't even care about Bret Hart right now. CM Punk don't care about nobody but himself.
That's always what he cared about.
CM Punk would say Dax Harwood carried him, because CM Punk has that thing where at this age, like, oh, I'm an old man, I can't go like I used to anymore.
That would be into it on the podcast.
No, but it would be a lie, because again, like Bret Hart, who's a fucking liar and a fucking phony.
Here we go.
CM Punk wouldn't actually mean it. So let's move on.
I got to talk like Floyd. So why they get into it on their podcast then? He want to show the ratings. Talking about when I was there, the ratings and merch was up.
They were. That was the whole point of the CM Punk thing.
No, but I'm saying, so why would he put him over now if he want to basically bury him saying, hey, what y'all saying on y'all little podcast that probably 100 people subscribe to?
CM Punk's in praise of this, right? Or he's saying he isn't fucking with what Daxter would say?
No,
CM got into it.
But CM Punk.
Oh, I haven't been watching that.
Before
ain't nobody watching the podcast. It just came out.
But before
I saw it, and I'm like, what kind of? Let's move on. Next. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Ren Narita in the tournament final for the inaugural NWJP World Television title. Zack Sabre Jr., the technical wizard.
Can I say something really quick?
The technical wizard.
So people know I listen to Stove God Cooks, Rome Streets, and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zack Sabre is more so your old Droog. He's more so people like that. It was just like, all right, dog, it's too hip hop.
It's all this, like the story. So the story of the match was what? I'm gonna keep kicking you because I know when I kick you, you're gonna start going crazy, and then I'm gonna grab your limb and do a move, right?
It's about strong style. Kick me as hard as you can, so then I can kick you back.
But then he won the match. The thing is like he beat the dude ass for 15 minutes.
And I like Dean Malenko, but this is like Dean Malenko.
It was a 15-minute time.
It's like, dog, like Dean Malenko gave me some type of entertainment.
I was gonna say this is worse than Dean Malenko.
And we like Malenko. It's just the fact that it's like, dog, like it's too much hip hop. You feel me?
I'm just now remembering you are anti Zack Sabre Jr. as the greatest technical wrestler because you said it's fucking Pete Dunne, and I'm not saying that in a negative way.
Entertaining.
I love Pete Dunne, but Zack Sabre Jr. is better.
I don't think Zack Sabre Jr. is entertaining though.
That's what I'm saying. Pete Dunne is technical, and he better than him, bruh. I just don't.
I'm not saying it's by a lot. I think it's Zack Sabre Jr. by like a split decision. Again, Zack Sabre Jr. does a lot of great pinning predicaments.
So you like Joyner Lucas instead of Bodie James?
I think I don't listen to anything but fucking Drake. Again, I played in pop songs like
If you understood that reference, that's why
every once in a while I like some real technical shit. Like Zack Sabre Jr. will do like the great transitions, like Samoa Joe could transition from
in what year?
Headlock to crossface. Well, I mean, just because the man's got a weight problem. Like
I ain't talking about the weight problem. No, he can't move his shoulder.
Like, just like in Pulp Fiction, just because the man got a weight problem doesn't mean he's fat. Like, for the Samoan, what the fuck's he supposed to do?
He just can't move his shoulder.
Joe in 2022, 23. But Zack Sabre Jr. will do amazing things where he'll like he'll jump on someone and put him in a guillotine and then like now grab the arm and twist it this way. Maybe Matt should join us for this segment. But
he's so annoying to him. No. Him as a person is annoying to me, and But
he's like this outspoken guy. Like in terms of like the government in Britain is fucked, and we should stop. We should stop. Like he's you're calling him a wanker?
Yeah, who gives it? Like I am not when he all right. He walks into a room
with the collar up,
blonde hair, collar up. I could see him walking into the room dressed as the fucking driver, gloves and gloves included. Shouts out to Ryan Gosling. When I see him with that face,
like that's a bad thing to me.
I see him with that face, I don't want. I'm immediately like, I've seen this. I've seen that look. I've seen that smug attitude.
Yeah, he's
and the fact that he's a good technical wrestler. Hey, it looks like Alex. What was the fucking what was the German dude that was doing?
Don't do it.
It looks like Alex Wright. It looks like Alex Wright and William Regal got smashed together because I've seen so many matches with. I've lived through this and I liked that iteration better because this dude seems like a douche.
But Alex Wright was entertaining. He gave.
I'm just talking about the look. He looked.
No, you're right. Well, first, you're right with the look because he has that like he's almost like. Not as handsome as Dave Beckham, but he has that Dave Beckham look.
Right. He's great value, David Beckham.
Yeah. And it's like years ago, you should have just liked him because he was as skinny as me doing all this shit. And now he's kind of like bulked up because he made his way to the heavyweight division. But
bro, it's Kevin Durant in 07 to Kevin Durant in 2010.
What's good? It's Kevin Durant when he did that much photo shoot with the weights. Like,
yeah, it ain't that much bulk, pal.
That's good.
But no, David Shoemaker, this is why he's the masked man and a genius, not just put over Cal and where he works. But like he had said, and it made me realize, like, oh shit, he's right. Like I think it was during the Cruiserweight Classic. It was like, in all actuality, like Zack Sabre Jr. is a heel because he was a babyface throughout that tournament. He's like, look at this guy's style. Like, that's how heels wrestle. He's a bully. He's putting you in all these holds to trap you and pin you, and he'll break your fingers and all that. Like, that's a villainous type style because, like, he's the, you know, wimpy guy who's going to use all these tricks to get around you, not fight you fairly, or like, you know, make you fight his style. And that's where you see why the great minds of this podcast game are who they are. When he said that, I'm like, oh shit. So it made sense when Zack Sabre Jr. showed up in Japan as the generic white meat British babyface. He then turned heel by joining Suzuki Gun. Suzuki Gun is now disbanded. If you put up the image now, I send him Zack Sabre Jr. with the belt. He's
just nonsense.
He's now joined TMDK, and I'm kind of hyped for this because I did like TM61. I thought Shane Haste was underrated in NXT when he was on a solo run. He wish he could have gotten some more play before they turned him into fucking Slapjack. If you remember that, the dude on the left was Slapjack.
I did not remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I remember now.
So I don't remember his face to remember him being Slapjack, but that's
he wore a mask. That's why.
Well, but didn't they unmask at some point though?
No.
Oh, he never unmasked. Okay,
just the Milli Vanilli looking dude and Dominic Gojo.
And no one on earth could be like, what do you mean that's Mia Yim? You can't like.
Well, yeah, I knew. I don't think I knew who he was beforehand to know who to remember his face at all. This shit was weak.
I definitely knew it was her. I seen them Birdman lugs.
Okay, if I'm going to start watching New Japan again, I'm kind of hyped for this because it's three white boys. It's three white boys getting together. It's that white boy shit. Like
that happens all the time. It's called college.
It's bros getting together. We're fucking having fun, bro. We're fucking
enjoying the Republican Party. Yeah, that's what always happens.
Whoa. Zach was saying he was the leader.
Yeah, he's saying he's the leader of
by default because he's the only one we know.
No, because it used to be Jonah, who's now Bronson Reed again because he's signed to WWE. He was with TDMK, so he's now taking that role as leader.
Triple H trick, y'all. He started Bronson Reed. I said, all right, bro. Vince for sure come back now.
It's just these three.
There's some other like hanger-ons too, but there will be like the three. Well, you know, there's like red shirts. You're a Star Trek guy. You know, red shirts just are there to get blown up. There are some guys who like do the job in the tag team.
I'm good.
Dog, so it's about to be three vanilla people. Yeah, little just people. Doing drops.
But I thought the match was good because Ren Narita is basically the first protege of Katsuyori Shibata. He's molded Narita into his image, and he might not be as good as Shibata, but maybe one day. So he kind of wrestles like Shibata with the kicks and the.
He kept kicking that motherfucker in the chest, and he's and then he just kept beating his ass. Like I don't know.
You get 2 kicks to the chest out of me, and that's it, bro.
That's what I said. Like, you chop me once, I'm gonna get a gun. What are you saying? White Wicked joke? Let me go get my other gun.
I'm gonna go get my gun.
Get my other gun.
Shoot everybody ass.
Shoot everybody.
All right.
The next match. All right. So now, Synergy once again with something else we mentioned Hikuleo earlier. Fam and Love of the Vote have talked to the now new never open weight champion Tama Tonga. I've always kind of liked Tama Tonga. He's never been the greatest wrestler, but he has such a unique style that you like can't help but like enjoy it because he's so quick and unorthodox. It just sometimes doesn't either sell the best or like he moves too fast, moves get kind of botchy, but he has a good look. So like he would do the face paint. That's how he kind of became more known, and everyone like there would be all the memes of he looks like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns mix. Like this on paper is this is the Vince McMahon prototype for like what you should be as a wrestler in 2010. Like get this guy.
He seems like if him and Hikuleo was a tag team, he'd be like the great babyface fire. I appreciated his like I'm spring to the top of the rope.
Well, no, that's the thing now is that Tama Tonga was part of Bull Club. These asshole gaijin who come and don't play by the rules, cheat. His brother Tangaloa joined, who is again portraying a Mexican man in WWE as Camacho, which is let's not forget that they'd have those dope masks. But like people would call I think it was like Don Callis or Kevin Kelly would call Tama Tonga like the slippery eel just because he would like maneuver out of holds in a weird way and slide across the ring and all that. But since he got kicked out of Bullet Club by Jay White, he's become a fight with honor, babyface, like you said, who springs up to the top rope and is like, come on, and like, you know, and the people love to cheer for him. And I think it's worked for him really well because he has a nice look of like, yeah, let's cheer this guy. He started out as a young lion. He was basically born and bred there. So they have history of like constantly booing this guy who's now, you know, realized that's the bad side and now has joined the good side. And by defeating Carl Anderson, who kind of showed up to wrestle for this match, even though he had a shirt on, but he tried a little bit harder. I think people said in the Hikuleo match where like he didn't do nothing and still won. I didn't watch that match, but that was what everyone said on the timeline.
Hey, I mean, but he was playing a role, right? Like his whole point was, you know, clock's ticking. Let's get this shit over with.
Yeah, he said when, where, how much.
Yeah. But I like
tired. He been on the road with the E. Like, hey man, let me take this flight real quick.
I forgot
even in the East, like, all right, let me go half speed tonight.
But I will say you can tell, like in the E, I don't want to see a Carl Anderson match. I could care less about him and Gallows. Like they tell me they good. I've never sat and cared about a OC tag match, any of that shit.
The Good Brothers.
I'll be political right now because you know, our brother works with them. They all right. I'll just say that. Well, I can say what I really want. Hey, I ain't never liked the OC.
That's up to you. I mean, you say what you want.
No, the Good Brothers, because the OC is AJ Styles. Like, you can't say you don't like anything that has AJ Styles in it.
No, because he's top 5 greatest all time.
Yeah. So the Good Brothers is what you just like, because they were that.
I didn't like the B100. Sorry to cut you off. I never liked the Bullet Club like that. I never liked it. I never liked the fact that, you know, they had a subsidiary Bullet Clubs and Villain Club and all this. Even it's just a t-shirt to me, to be honest.
Blame Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks for that.
Blame the NWO shit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I never liked the Bullet Club to begin with. So with them, it was like I used to see their matches. I'm like, all right, cool. But the Bucks of Youth have always been my guys. I'll just say that.
I liked Carl Anderson in this match. I specifically, it was whatever the shit he did to Tamatonga on the guardrail.
Yeah.
He
showed up to work.
He mashed him over the guardrail and then ran in the ring and said, count.
Yeah.
I like that type. Like, that's
good heel shit. Yeah.
Being able to play into that heel role is dope. And just like, I mean, I don't care what the fuck y'all say. Just like FTR and tag teams of that ilk.
Already, we're
being able to go into Japan and work. It kind of sucks to then have them come stateside, and because if I never watched this New Japan match, I still would think that Carl Anderson was fucking whack cheese on toast. I'm not saying that he's great, but I see that there's a reason why people rock with him. But you'll never be able to see that, and it's just kind of odd that they would pick somebody up to do that, to do nothing.
Again, Cal.
No, they gave him the title when he was still there. Then he signs the deal with WWE. So in a way, he was there because WWE didn't want him back. He wasn't going to stay in AEW.
I'm not talking about the title. I'm not talking about this pro. I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
We see Gallows and Anderson moving in New Japan. We've got AJ. Let's bring these guys over here because they clearly
at the same time. But you mean for the comeback?
I'm just saying clearly whatever they're bringing him over here for isn't because of the work that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're here to fill a role, and I guess that might be why they still want to go overseas, because they can actually do
that's where they made money. It's like when WWE cut them, they had to go back there because that's where they would be prominent. AEW didn't want them, Impact got them, and then New Japan, where they got their biggest start.
But I think there's a difference between like a DJ working a regular like trendy club on the weekends because it makes a lot of money versus picking up like a second gig on a Tuesday night that may not be a poppin' night, but they get to play and experiment and do shit they want. I feel like that's what New Japan is for people like Carl Anderson. He's able to be a pro wrestler, like a real pro wrestler over there. He's got his own look, his own entrance, all that shit.
Do you like that?
It was the best presentation I've seen. I kind of want to see if it had looked any better when they had bigger production or whatever. Or you can be like,
you can't do that in America is the thing. So,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not. it's the difference between being a WWE contracted performer and Kenny Omega, who can use all of this. And if you're paying attention, he can do all of this shit and then bring it over to AEW, bring that legacy and lore over to AEW for the people who are paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because you say, oh, I'm noticing he's the belt collector over there, so I'm automatically thinking, look, the Death Triangle might be in trouble for these trios titles. Carl Anderson,
you didn't see that coming when the match turned into a best of 7.
I'm just saying, if you're only watching AEW TV, you don't even know about all this. You don't know that Kenny Omega's on a roll going into this match. You know that they may be able to overcome Death Triangle because they've been able to win when it's not been just regular matches and Death Triangle been cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more to it because he's able to build stuff up over there. Where Carl Anderson, he did all this shit and then he's going to go back to TV and do nothing if he's even on TV. It's just it's weird how I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
He wants it.
But that sounds like the American dream.
That's the guys like Carl Anderson or someone like him in particular, and Luke Gallows as well. They made it big over there, got brought in. Probably thought they were going to get a run at first, but then we're like, these are just cash and checks. In Japan, you kind of have to try to earn your way, and then, all right, now you don't have to grind as much. So he went back to Japan, and they're like, well, I was already a star here, and they'll always kind of have like, oh, Carl Anderson shows up. We can always do something with him. And then in his mind, he's like, yeah, I can again let the foot off the gas and just cruise for a little bit. So if you hear them on any interview or podcast, they have that mindset of like, I'm not going to try as hard as you think I should. As the MJF thing, like, I'm not going to break my body for your entertainment, which Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega said. You want to see 2 dead bodies? Like,
no, I feel you, but I'm saying you don't think in like if they could, you don't think the Good Brothers would have tried to have had a year like FTR in terms of being able to travel around and being top champions and stuff?
Like they were going to get paid like they want, and like they're to me they've always been Scott Hall, Kevin Nash as the outsiders in like 97, like the least amount of work, all the accolades. It's like, how can I do the least and get the most?
Got you.
And that's what everybody should aspire to do, not just in pro wrestling. Hey, bro, that's
definitely
what Banks want to do this year.
And Tama Tonga is someone who works hard, might not be the 8th best, but is still good enough and always tries, which is why he's now the Neverweight Open champion, which is below the IWGP US title, which used to be below the Intercontinental title before they merged it with the IWGP heavyweight title. Tama Tonga holds, but again, it's still in a way below the junior title because that's the match that took place a match after the next match. So it's like Tama Tonga is in a way like this title only holds relevant because it's like people who should kind of be a big deal if we ever decide to push them to the main event spot as a challenger, because Ishii's won this title, Minoru Suzuki, Hiroki Goto, guys who always challenge for the title but never win. Tama Tonga has now taken that spot. So whenever there's a heel champion, he'll be the babyface challenger to take the pinfall to make the champ look good. That's always kind of what this title is. It was supposed to be a way to make heavyweights fight juniors, and they've kind of done that a little bit. It doesn't happen as often.
Got you.
Which is why it's called open weight. The next one is a 6-man tag match. Keiji Muto's last New Japan match. It was him, Hiroshi Tanahashi, who was starting to resemble John Cena in 2022 of like, this might be your last game. Like, but I also think Tanahashi, much like John Cena, needs some help in the hair department because, as Keeks always says, Tanahashi's the Mary J. Blige of wrestling with the wigs.
Right.
Oh man, put that finger up. His whole hand be hurting. Authorizer kicking in.
It's like you mean like John Cena and Cheese will be like,
yeah,
big facts.
And Shota Umino, who is the son of Red Shoes the Ref, but most importantly, he's John Moxley's protege, which is why he's got the Death Rider jacket. I think he's next up. He's someone who I'm very high on in New Japan, could see being the world champion one day. They defeated Los Ingobernables de Japón, who is Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, and my guy Bushi. I always liked Bushi. He's had some dope fits. He's an underrated junior heavyweight worker. He spits the miss. And Sonata was trained by Keiji Muto. So that's why he was in the section. LIJ is still kind of the biggest stable in New Japan, even though Bullet Club always kind of seems like it on paper. But Tetsuya Naito, that's your guy. Banks, the man with no knees, but he's gonna hit you with that Destino no matter what.
He got the strikes though. That's what I'm saying. I ain't got no knees. The upper body hurt, but still,
I fell asleep during this match. I didn't go back to it. Did Muta hit the
You know what? This match
moonsault?
was just kind of he went up for it, and Tanahashi said like, "Get your ass down."
Okay,
I
I was hoping he was gonna go to do it, and then I literally fell asleep on my couch. And when I woke
He
up,
was like,
they were leaving.
"The fuck you doing? The fuck are you doing?"
Please
Don't do it.
He hit the Shining Wizard.
Because Tanahashi's like, I don't even want to go up for the high fly flow. You can't go up for that damn moonsault.
Show
Like,
6-year-old ass down. That was back with
that
the
moonsault ain't gonna be nowhere crispy.
When Tanahashi goes up for the frog splash, he's like, I don't even want to do the ribbit arms. I just want to drop like it's a body splash. Like,
bro, they might need to cut that out their diet this year.
But thankfully, this match was just 9 minutes. It was to honor Keiji Muto, who's on his farewell tour.
They know how to space out the time for the vets. Hey, 9 minutes, no more.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
I'm with it though. I'm with it. Let that man go out there.
Yeah.
Hit the shit. Hit the Shining Wizard. Get the win.
Like,
get the fuck out.
Yeah, he can do that. Where like he's like, it's like someone who's like, I haven't dunked in a while. Let me do like the stutter step travel, like no dribble at all. Like let me put the ball, run, and like.
I got one in me.
It's those running the ropes. One step.
I think I told this to Banks like a few times. Like I watched him face Naito. I think it was maybe 7 years ago at this point, and all he did against Naito was hit Shining Wizard, Shining Wizard, Shining Wizard, and I'm like, so this man's still wrestling now.
Yeah.
When in one match he could only do the signature move. It's like,
that's it.
But did either of you watch the Nakamura match as well?
Yeah.
No, I've not watched the Nakamura.
Oh, you talking about the Nakamura versus Muta?
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched the pay-per-view at all, but I will when we're done.
Yeah, again, the final match is him, Sting, and Darby Allin. I can't remember their opponents that they're facing. Did they announce them? Yeah, they announced it because it's sometime at the end of this month.
It's like the 21st or 20th or something like Great Muta, Sting, Darby Allin.
But this also was mainly used to put over Shota Umino, who got the victory in terms of like the pinfall victory. He said he's the guy's next up. He just lost to Ospreay for the IWGP US title a few months ago when he made his return to Japan because he was over in America on excursion. That's where he developed like his version of the Death Rider gimmick that Jon Moxley basically gave to him. I can't wait till he shows up in AEW. Well, he was at Forbidden Door, but shows up in AEW again as a member of the Blackpool Combat Club, but like their Japanese representative.
Interesting.
Then we have the 4-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. When I would watch Wrestle Kingdoms of the past, this is always like the real match. Because again, I love Flippy Wrestling, which is a future White Noise episode down the line with a very special guest. But this one wasn't as good as I thought it'd be. It's Hiromu Takahashi defeating Taiji Ishimori, who's phenomenal. El Desperado again, who's great, and Master Wato. And this match was 16 minutes. It's not like the spots weren't bad. It was just so like cut and dry. Like these are our 4 best juniors, and the guy who's won best of the Hiromu Takahashi has won best of the Super Juniors in 2018, 2020, 2021, and 2022. And did you guys think he's the best junior out of these 4?
Nah. I mean, it was cool, but like, you know, I wasn't blown away. I was actually kind of over it. But I also knew at that point there's a couple of shits left, and
there's only 2 things people truly want to see. Like
they could have put this match. I know it was a title for the title, but this shit felt like it could have been put on a little earlier.
Yeah. What about you, Banks?
By then we worn out, bro. By then the crowd worn out. I was like, all right, bro, we got to go for whatever we can go for. And of course it was a warm up before we got to the main matches, but still, it's just like
in terms of what to expect for
the closeout show matches, the main events, but it's still like, all right, bro.
The main matches.
I think it's like Takahashi's super over with the crowd. Like when he showed up as the Time Bomb, he beat Kushida at Wrestle Kingdom. Then he beat him like in 5 minutes. The next time they had a match, which was still crazy. He had that one horrific neck injury facing Dragon Lee. Remember when Dragon Lee tried to do that cradle powerbomb and threw him right on his neck? And if you ever watch Hiromu Takahashi wrestle, he wrestles at that breakneck speed already. Like he does a running shotgun drop kick to the outside. He did it in this match, that diving senton bomb on the outside, where he just like throws his body like there's a crash pad below it. So I think he's a good wrestler, but
you said somebody done told you wrong.
Who was it? Who told him wrong?
I heard Madcap Moss with your guy. You said somebody done told you wrong.
No, he's lying. He's a liar.
Oh, they
Tell him
told
that.
me you.
No. That was Davis. Davis said it.
All right. Like I said, and I like Taiji Ishimori. He's been great since he came back to New Japan as the Bone Soldier, the reinvented Bone Soldier for Bullet Club's junior heavyweight division representative. And he had great matches with Bandito, Dragon Lee, but again, those two guys are now gone. Bandito could potentially show up again and help that division, but
we'll see.
Kushida was supposed to have a match with him, but he had like was it foot and mouth disease or whatever it is, like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be either in a singles match or have a match prior to this to determine who the champ could have been. And I'm great that Kushida's back in Japan because I did enjoy his run in NXT, but it wasn't going to work on the main roster.
Right. Makes sense.
All right, now the two matches that everyone's talking about. Omega Ospreay, years and years in the making. Cal,
You stood up for this one.
Cal, you can go first because I think you had something to say.
Was this years in the making?
Yes.
Just because they had they wrestled? I
put the image of Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega up. That also has Will Ospreay in it.
Is it? Wait, which one? What the fuck am I looking at? Hold up. Which image? Which one you talking about?
The one that has Kenny Omega on the bottom with a black eye.
All right.
And Kota Ibushi.
This one.
So they're saying, so in the press conference prior to this, in which Will Ospreay went like full British, like, all right, bro. And trigger warning if you don't like a certain word. He called Kenny Omega a cunt a few times
during the press conference,
which was again, I'm always for, we should call people that.
Jesus Christ,
I'll be using
it because people be cunts sometimes. So he said, bro, and he's like, he didn't go that far. He almost went like Billy Butcher, like, oi, let me talk to you, like. So at Wrestle Kingdom in 2019, Kota Ibushi was the never openweight champion. And Will Ospreay was the challenger. He uses the hidden blade. Shout out to Fam. I know that's his favorite maneuver. And knocks Kota Ibushi out for real.
Yeah.
Like, for real, Kota Ibushi's knocked out. He lifts him up for the finisher and wins the match. What they then now, because this is the way Kenny Omega develops the story, is we'll use the real life stuff in our story.
Right.
That, given how Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega have been together as friends, as lovers, tag team partners, Ospreay said, I'm sorry for what I did to him, but it wasn't on purpose. And if you get in the ring with me, it will be on purpose in terms of like knocking Ibushi out. And that's why like they're saying Kenny Omega came back to avenge Ibushi getting knocked out, where also on paper it's that like Ospreay has now surpassed Omega as another Gaijin heavyweight champion who moved from the junior heavyweight division to the world heavyweight division. He hasn't won the G1 like Kenny Omega did, the first ever Gaijin to win the G1. Even Jay White hasn't done that, which is crazy. But Will Ospreay, no, just like that, you would think so, like because again, Jay White's.
I know you would think that was crazy.
But if you put the other image of Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, like they're doing all this to set up the match. Kenny Omega had the most star rating matches by Dave Meltzer. Will Ospreay's now taken that record from him, which I know is meaningless to someone like you, Banks, right?
Yeah, meaningless to a lot.
You care about my uncle's star ratings or no?
Why would I care about a nerd writing some stuff? No disrespect to him. I know that's your man. You're gonna be on the show one day, but why should I care about a star rating?
They said he gave it 6.75, right, Banks?
Check his highest rating he's ever given a match.
Why?
And the other one was
Okada Omega
4. Yeah.
But wait, why would this match be rated so? What was it about this match that made this match?
I can break it down. It was great.
All right, so Banks, you're pro this match.
Yeah, no, this is match of the year thus far. Yeah, this is match of the year thus far to me. This is real hip hop right here when it comes to this
7
match.
days in. You talk about match of the year. I can't take that comment seriously. No, but what? Talk to me. What? Talk to me.
Who gonna put on a better match? You think?
No, you not gonna have me speculating on best match of the year on January 7th or some shit. No. What? Talk to me about this match. What makes this a post 5-star, almost 7-star match?
So a lot of these matches tend to use these spots like this, right? I think it's the execution for him. I'll say about him and then I'll get to me. So with him, he probably just like the whole story overall because it's some real heat between these two, and we could tell just from the match and how they talk to each other. When you cut in a promo, it's not to bury your other opponent, and that's what Kenny Omega did during the summertime. He said, "Yeah, hey Kevin Nash, you're right. He don't move merch," which is true about Will Oceanspray. He don't move merch, and then Will Oceanspray, as y'all say on BRP, was supposed to be the guy.
Not y'all. Be clear about y'all.
Yeah, Oceanspray.
The Negras be saying it. I'm sorry.
Oceanspray.
Yeah, they be saying Oceanspray. So he was supposed to take that mantle, the guys in that takes over the company or is the forefront of the company. He didn't do that. Why? Because he does a lot of real hip hop. Whereas Kenny Omega could do real hip hop, but he mixed it with some entertainment as well. So cut to the match. It was a lot of sports entertainment. It was a lot of those ECW style spots, extreme spots, especially the table. I'm like, dog, them tables ain't.
When he used his head to break through the table, I'm like, what the fuck?
That was the best table. That was the only.
I know you love that. I was like, there's that.
Spot.
I'm talking.
That's why I said no. This is heat. They actually got shoot heat because it was like, dog, like.
Maybe I didn't pick up on that because I don't care about this. Like the story didn't mean anything to me. I like it. It did like I wasn't invested in the match on that end. So but I mean, like, is it the moves or because they're very good at executing the moves?
Yeah.
The Snapdragon suplexes look great. I guess you can. I don't like.
I don't like the DDT onto the exposed turnbuckle that fucking broke.
I don't understand the concept because the V trigger, he essentially like whatever 8th, 9th V trigger he hit him with was essentially that was the kill shot, and then he just hit him with the finisher for the win. That's a deadly move. I don't understand the science of running full force at someone with my deadliest move, and the impact is nullified because he grabbed his leg. There's a lot of spots like that where I'm about to do my cutter, and then they have that shit looks so it looks so silly to me. And then when it ends up being the big pop because he did like a triple twist before he kicked him on the head. That one like shit. If that's the stuff that's putting this over 5 stars, I officially could care less about these types of main event matches because it's not that I think it's bad. I don't. It's not doing it for me when I'm looking at big man. I don't like, it's probably more Oceanspray. I think it might be more Oceanspray. Did you
not like Oceanspray? I'm saying it.
I don't like Ocean. I didn't
like Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy.
I like Orange Cassidy. I like the way that Orange Cassidy was able to take it to Oceanspray. When I'm looking at Oceanspray wrestling Kenny Omega, it doesn't feel like Oceanspray would have been the guy that'd be surpassing Kenny Omega in terms of that white guy in over there.
That's what he said. And that's the basis of this.
But I'm talking about them in the match though. But what I'm saying is when I'm watching them in the match, Oceanspray don't seem like the guy to surpass Omega, and that's why Omega beat his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem is, I still got to hear about Oceanspray and Aussie Empire and all this other United Empire bullshit being fucking ill. And then when I look, and it's really a glorified fucking Cirque du Soleil.
It's fan fiction that makes it seem like it's non-fiction, if that makes sense with the Kangaroo Jack and them. So with them, it's just more so the fandom of not just Davis. The people say, no, this is what's up. This the real. And it's like, nah, because y'all leader, he ain't him. Like, he has to be carried in the match. Like Orange Cassidy, the match was great. That was my favorite match at Forbidden Door, but it's solely because of Orange Cassidy that can work any type of style, any way.
That's why I use my Wrestler of the Year, Oli with Keeks. That's why that was my match of the year as well. That's why I said, like, when we did the whole White Noise about Orange Cassidy, I'm like, you got to stop wishing this guy was different because he's perfect the way it is. He just needs to turn up the seriousness sometimes, but he doesn't need to do a 180 or a reinvention. It's like you see it now, this feud with Kip Sabian, like something has angered him, but then he'll still be the guy with the backpack and the shades and the jean jacket walking down to fucking Jefferson Starship. Like he's Orange Cassidy is what he is.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, he's a work. Like he wrestles every Friday. Like
work. I'm saying like work style or overall in the ring. He's top 5 in the world right now, just off work style. You know what I mean? The entertainment factor is there. So you could play style.
Because he'll do holds, he'll do flips, he'll do comedy, he'll do
Orange Cassidy.
He can do and Will Ospreay, he's done some of the best high-flying stuff I've seen. The only other person really is Ricochet, which is why the match that those two had pissed everyone off, because that's what started this. It's just choreography, it's just flips, Cirque du Soleil. But
that's the problem with Ospreay. My fault to cut you off, brother. That's the problem with him. He don't know exactly what he wants to be right now. And it's like when you with everybody, you try to get your spots in, and it's like, dude, well, everybody can't do, or they don't want to go that same pace as you because they want to tell a story. I think that's why I work best with Orange Cassidy. But then with Omega, it's to outshow him. And that's the problem I think Cal really has with the match, because it's like y'all doing all these spots. It's an extreme match, but it's a clean.
It was very clean extreme.
Kenny Omega just loves to use that table in Japan because it's like unbreakable, really, until you stomp on it first. And then...
unbreakable, like what you call it, fucking Ray J's glasses, right? Because he immediately put.
No, I mean like those tables are until like you actually like stomp. Those tables, they don't break like the WWE prop tables do.
But him putting his foot through the table, because again, I'm big on replayed spots. They did the spot, and I'm like, he didn't even touch him. He didn't even touch that man. Then they replayed it in slow motion. He really didn't touch that man. But it's the way that I have to look at this. Like, it's not even like suspension of disbelief. It's just like, that's a lie. Like that did not happen. But I have to watch this because dude is very flippy, and y'all got him pegged as to be top guy Gene next. I personally don't see it for Will Ospreay. I don't know what world title he should be having anytime soon, but I have a feeling I'm going to see that happen
before.
Soon.
That was the thing, and like I said to you earlier, Kyle, like a neck injury took that title away from him, and this man we're talking about, these old men who are going to be in wheelchairs in 3 years. He might be in a wheelchair sooner than them because he wrestles this. Again, he takes these back
he won't slow down
on the apron. But I also respect it, and that's the thing we really just talk about with New Japan in general, why these old men walk the way they do in terms of the Keiji Mutos and the Tatsuya Fujinamis, like the Ken Kobashis, and why someone like Misawa died in the ring is because like they'll go as hard as they can when their body's spent. And someone like Will Ospreay is like, well, these are my prime years. I have to go all out, and maybe I'll be a better technical wrestler then. You can tell when he made this heel turn to be the Commonwealth Kingpin and start the United Empire, he tried to be a little Conor McGregor-ish with the fur coats and the jackets and the Versace and, be just a loudmouth Brit, that he wanted to switch it up. And that first match with Okada was like, he didn't do as many flips. It was him trying to do that strong style, just moves that don't involve me doing so many flips. And I'm just going to hit you as hard as I can. And he still kind of does that. I think with someone Okada, again, who we'll get to him, like who can't maybe keep up as he could have 5 years ago with guys like that. Who have to slow it down a little bit more. But Will Ospreay, like you said, just trying to find that balance to be Kenny Omega, AJ Styles, Ricochet. Like, I'm the guy who does it all. I can go as fast as I can and still be great at going slow. I don't think it depends on his opponent. And Kenny Omega is now at full strength himself, having so much time to recoup and recover, even with the second suspension. I mean, the suspension to be like a second break that he needed. And now he's been killing himself for these fucking game 6, game 5, game 4 matches. And then this match happens where nobody wants to come out and do again, like, I'm going to do the moves I don't do as much. We're like, and from the top rope is what we're doing. Again, I'll do these dives to that side and still kind of land on my feet. Where it's like, and Don Callis said this in the match, like Kenny Omega, like, is in great shape, but somehow Will Ospreay is still in better shape to be doing all this. And that's why like stuff like Ospreay will do, like when they were back and forth on the apron, just like throwing punches and kicks at these like weird angles, like no one can kind of like bend their leg. Like Will Ospreay has that weird kick where he'll like hook it from behind him.
Right.
It's stuff I enjoy. I think that's why I kind of enjoy an array of styles from wrestling. And Do I think he's the best wrestler in the world? No, but I think he's one of the best. I enjoy watching his matches. That's why it was great when he showed up in AEW for the trios tournament. And that's why that match between the United Empire and the Elite was such a big deal, because like it's the warm up to what was then this match. Even though everyone knew that match was going to happen, it wasn't pre-announced though. And at some point, because Kenny Omega won the title that he won the first time, he was the first ever IWGP US champion. Because when New Japan was breaking through in 2017 and 2018, they thought we were going to be a bigger deal in America a lot sooner than they actually turned out to be. That title was supposed to be that title for America, and he loses it to Jay White, who's next up in terms of our matches, and decides that he wants to leave, and him and the Bucks go start AEW, and that title still kind of mattered in a way. John Moxley was bringing that title to the States and going back and forth, and made that title relevant in between the reigns like Juice Robinson and Lance Archer. But Will Ospreay's won that title as a late to try to get, because it's now the new IC title since it merged with the world title, with the heavyweight title. So this is the second biggest prize you can win in New Japan. And for Will Ospreay to do that, it shows that they gave this guy a run at the top, but Jay White's still their top guy, Jin. And maybe because he does wrestle that more traditional Japanese style and is probably better on the mic, has a better appeal, is a chosen one because he was a young lion that they built and then became what they wanted him to be. Whereas like Will Ospreay was this guy who goes all over the world and has decided to plant his flag because he's not ready to go to WWE, and maybe he doesn't want to go to AEW. Like
I would, yeah. Can I say something that may be controversial? Yeah. As a traditionalist, not only do I feel like the world title match should be the last match on the show, but the world champion should be the last person to walk out of the show.
This match should have been the last match.
Everything I said about Will Ospreay still stands. Omega Ocean Spray should have been the main event. No disrespect to Okada, no disrespect to Jay White. They wrestled a fine match. The blood, the story.
Yeah. Like Banks, what'd you say? Like, oh shit, they're potatoing each other. For real. Like who does that anymore?
I mean, Omega better than me because he was getting kicked in the face. He got socked.
Yeah, when he tucks his head into the turnbuckle and hits him with a super kick, and then Omega blocks it, and then the other one breaks his hand. And then he gave him another one. Like,
I'm supposed to believe that this man was on the top row. He's so out of it that his head got tucked under in front of the pass, so he got his asshole stuck out to the rest of the world. It's just catching soup. It's stuff like that where I'm like, what? Ocean Spray came up in the room, was like, all right, Kenny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tuck you up like a pretzel.
He definitely talked to him about
it. That move, it seems so stupid. It looks dumb.
That's why it's dumb, because he didn't talk to him about it. Like, you not gonna sit up here and be like, all right, that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do this spot, and then I'm gonna lay it into you. Nah, bro. Because it's like,
that's because you would be like, the fuck you ain't like.
Well, most wrestlers would be like, nah, bro, nah.
That's these two guys, whether there's the heat's legitimate, they could maybe play it up. Who knows what's for. But they could also be like, at some point in this match, I'm going to hit this guy for real, and I'm going to let him hit me back for real. Because that's why, like, how many knees is he going to hit? But also, like, Ospreay took off the elbow pad, hit the hidden blade the regular way, which is to the back of the head, and then he said, "Get up! I'm going to hit you in the front of your fucking face." This time.
Actually, like when they were trading shots, he was like, "Come on, you fucking pussy," and he popped him, and then Omega said, and he said, "Come on, that one shit," because he was rocking him with them forms, and Omega said.
That's what I'm saying. You better than me, brother. You get one, and on me, cool.
And they're still able to do like you said, like poison ranas, dragon suplexes. Will Ospreay catches him in the air for a Liger bomb. It's still amazing moves that only few other guys can do in terms of like twist and contort their body and have the strength to do it. That's the point of Will Ospreay in the last 3 years, is try to, much like Zack Sabre Jr., build weight up to be heavyweight style to withstand it. And who knows if his body will with the shit he takes. It's insane. Like, he's already wrestled with like those cup marks on his back before, because that's supposed to like alleviate the pain.
Right. The stories in ring for those two matches didn't feel the same
with Okada, White, and Omega Ospreay.
After watching Omega Ospreay, like they had the same "I'm gonna grab you by your wrist" spot, and I'm gonna spit in your face.
Kenny Omega and Okada invented the "I'm gonna hold on to your wrist" spot. Maybe Okada did it the year prior with Tanahashi, but it was a go-to thing for Okada to hit the Rainmaker on accident, not with like the full turnout strength. You just grab someone and then hit it. They'd both fall down, and like Josh and Okada would still hold on to it,
grab the wrist,
and then get back up and try it again. So Kenny Omega stole his whole fucking flow for that. which is why everyone's saying like they compared Jay White Okada to Randy Orton, Triple H at WrestleMania 25. Like they had to follow what was earlier in the show, Shawn Michaels Undertaker, and the whole point of that Triple H Randy Orton match, like no one talks about it because it was the main event, and like you're saying, but it was the title. It had to go on last in some people's minds, even though that's kind of not happened before in the past because John Cena, The Rock, went on last, and that wasn't for the title. The first one. But I'm saying it happens. So like some matches are deemed higher than others. AEW tries to do the whole thing where like the men's world title is the main event, unless it's a lights out match like the first Full Gear was.
The unsanctioned stuff.
The unsanctioned technically doesn't count as a match, but Jay White and Okada, who are great rivals too. I'm thinking about one day, Cal, you and I might have to do like who are our favorite match, like rivals in wrestling, like, you know, guys who constantly put on great matches. I kind of talked about before, and this is a spoiler, but like Pac and Orange Cassidy again, never miss. We mentioned it earlier, like exactly, or the New Day and the Usos again, never miss. No matter the match could be 8 minutes or 20 minutes. Like, what's the stipulation?
John Cena versus Randy Orton.
No, that one they always miss is the thing, as we've said. Like the matches with Edge, I think, are better than the matches with Randy Orton.
Oh wow!
But the irony of John Cena and Randy Orton, like because they've wrestled so many times, Jay White on his Instagram and Twitter has been posting like the pictures of him and Okada throughout like their career, like when he joined Chaos, then betrayed Chaos, when he beat Okada not once, not twice, 3 times. He's only lost to Okada once.
I wonder if
they have history. So to the point, like Jay White hits Okada with a Rainmaker in this match, and then what's Okada do like 10 minutes later? He hits him with the Blade Runner. John Cena and Randy Orton at that Royal Rumble 2014 match. I think that's when John Cena hits like the worst RKO you've ever seen.
That was bad. And
then Randy Orton hits an AA, and it's like at this point they have to. It's been 8 years, like, and in Japan time, these guys have wrestled. Again, the 5th time, like you have to do something different to keep it fresh. And I always enjoy their chemistry. Jay White wrestles the way Triple H thought he did as a cerebral assassin with that that slow, methodical pace. I'm legit going to wear out a part of your body. And like, I'm going to run you into the turnbuckle. I'm going to run you into the guardrail. I'm going to do this slam at the right time, this hold at the right time. That's why
that's why I don't like it. Because I was never a Triple H main event guy.
It's too methodical. That's the only. He's one of the few guys where it is that methodical because he carries it so well with the trash talk. And
his trash talk game is elite. And
Roman Reigns stole it, as Semper Vivi said. Like
I think I like it more in a Roman Reigns match because the moves are more high impact. I think a small guy methodically beating your ass over 30 some minutes, that drags for me. Especially when Okada is Okada, but he's Okada that looked like he might need to.
But he's this version of Okada, and that's the thing. Banks like Okada 2014 to 2018 was unstoppable. It was
probably the best wrestler in the world. I know, but 2015 to 2017, it was debate between him, John Cena, and Seth Rollins.
It's not like he ain't got it. I mean, his drop kick was amazing. He was doing a lot of ill shit.
I'm still shocked he can get up for the one when the person's on the top turnbuckle because you kind of see he's like, okay,
but I honestly, I'm looking at this.
But that's why he tries to do all these other moves now. Like he has 2 different slam moves. He's like, I gotta start doing some other moves.
It would
probably it's like Jason Kidd when he got older. You can't just do the old athleticism.
It's like Muta. That's why the Shining Wizard came out. Would it have been bad if after Muto's last match, they went Okada, Jay White, then they went junior heavyweight title, and then United States.
Yeah, well, first of all, you're not going to put down the junior heavyweight title like that again. Like that's still the biggest draw, and it's again the title that Antonio Inoki made. He didn't make the U.S. title. Like even
that's how WWE would have booked the card.
Because Triple H,
Jay White would not have been the last match.
No, because Shawn Michaels, Undertaker having the match that they hadn't had a match together since the Royal Rumble match. Thought that. No, I'm saying like Vince McMahon booked that Shawn Michaels Undertaker match in the middle of the card, knowing damn well Shawn Michaels is an asshole, especially to Triple H. And he's like, this fucker is going to go out and steal the show. That's why next year they made them the main event.
After that press conference where man's called him a cunt and all this other stuff, you think Vince McMahon would have been like, oh, this
he would have no.
That was most of the talk.
That's Vince McMahon's thinking, and that's why in other people's eyes, the titles started not to matter anymore. That's why CM Punk got so pissed. Like, I'm not a great champion because I don't main event. John Cena main event.
He's not a great champion.
You
talking to the greatest booker of all time being Vince McMahon. He's not the greatest booker of all time.
He said Tony Khan was the greatest booker.
I didn't say that. I say the opposite of that every Wednesday night.
And y'all know I love AEW. That's my favorite promotion besides New Japan.
Because I'm like, because every Wednesday night I'm like, who booked this shit? Who booked a Swerve after we had the Swerve before it 3 weeks ago?
For Swerve,
brother, you got to understand. He's 38 years old. Vince been doing this for about 40 some years now, longer than he's been alive. If not, 50 some years longer than he's been alive.
Yeah, I thought both of these matches were really good, and I got to run them back because in the context I was trying to watch them just to hurry up before the show. But I ran them
back. I ran them back, and I liked Omega Ocean Spray more the second time, and I liked White and Okada, but I think Omega and Ocean Spray went a little too hard, especially with all that blood and shit. It was too much to then have, again, like you said earlier, like a clean. This felt cleaner than the ending of the Omega Ocean Spray, but I think that's just because of the hype and what they did in the match. It's not the shit on the main event at all, but it just didn't have that.
The story of the main event is the drama of like, is Jay White going to retain? But like I said earlier, like Okada, especially at Wrestle Kingdom, let me look it up real quick. Like is always almost walked out with the title, except for a few times. But like, and especially again to honor Antonio Inoki, no way he was losing.
Yeah, 100%
to Jay White. That's why at the end they had that thing where like Jay White kind of begrudgingly.
Oh, yeah, let's see. Hold up.
If you put that image, yeah.
Well, I was gonna look at what was this one? I'm looking.
We also got to talk about Okada's robe and I have the other image too. Like this man never misses.
The robe is hard.
To robes,
the robe is hard. Somebody was it Joe Dixon was asking about the robe online. I don't know if it, I think
dollar bills, y'all.
But I think because if you notice, like you could see it there, but from some of the far cameras, you couldn't see what was on the code at all. It just looked like it was like 3M technology.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like that anti-paparazzi stuff that like there was that image of Paris Hilton with the scarf when they try and take the photos, the tech in the scarf makes it shine so you can't even get a good shot of the person's face. I couldn't tell if it was that or not, but I was actually just looking at the history of Wrestle Kingdom. Okada,
yeah, I see beat Shingo Takagi to win the title on night 1 last year and then beat Ospreay to retain it on night 2.
But he's been the main event.
Yeah,
he was main event in Wrestle Kingdom 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Both nights of 14. 16. Both nights of 6. Oh.
He walked out with the titles and titles back-to-back years. 2017 he beat Kenny Omega. 2018 he beat Naito. Like
he main evented every night of Wrestle Kingdom last year. It was 3 nights. Because there was a tag match.
The third night was the Noah crossover, but that's not. He's their John Cena. He's their guy. Or Roman Reigns is probably another example too, but he's their go-to. If Tanahashi was John Cena, Okada is Roman Reigns.
Makes sense.
And that's why as much as he's slowing down, he's still gonna have that top spot.
You said them robes though?
Yeah, look at them. It's like there's the one on the bottom left, I think is the one that glows in the dark.
Oh, okay.
It's this weird print. And maybe the one above it too in the top right did as well. But he never misses when it comes to these robes.
These still robes. No, that was dope. I like the robe that he came out with. The
one on the bottom right is they say it's all the men who've won the IWGP World Heavyweight Title inscribed on it, like it's their names. That's why it looks like print. And this one again, it's the one he wore this year is the Okada bills. And apparently it did kind of have that technology you were talking about, Cal, because on the New Year's Dash when him and Kenny Omega teamed up, which was insane. From one camera angle, you just see like the entire robe glow, and you see like the red line around.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw at Wrestle Kingdom the first time I saw a video of it. And when someone asked, I was like, it reminded me of that Paris Hilton scarf shit, but it could have just. But out at the mall, they had like a NASA jacket that my son liked, and when we took it home and the light hit it, I didn't realize it had like the 3M tech on it. But it's like the whole jacket's got the 3M, so if it hit a certain light, it looked like you got like a fucking like ball of light on his chest or whatever. If it wasn't the 3M, it was that other shit, but it was an ill effect. It was an ill effect regardless, and I guess as much as I shit on the night, it solid into a solid pay-per-view.
Well, Shingo Takagi comes out and says he's next, which is what they've kind of been doing at the last few Wrestle Kingdoms. when Ibushi won
What
the
a sign.
titles. When Ibushi won the titles finally, Sonata challenged him. It's just kind of the way it works. Seeing Kenta challenged when Naito had won the titles as well. And I haven't watched the Jay White post-match press conference because he had the legendary one in 2021 where he's just like, is this what you want? I'm tired. Yeah, and that's what I told you. He talked about he as a kid, because I said this on the very first episode of White Noise, and I was like, "What did you say?" He said he wanted to drive diggers as a kid, which is is construction like equipment. He wanted to be like the guy who picks the shit up and drops it.
Having questions. I be needing to make sure what these people be saying.
You're under investigation.
But what's Jay White up to next? Apparently him and Hikuleo are having a loser leaves Japan match. I thought, it's the time. Is Jay White leaving? But the story is that actually Hikuleo is being looked at by WWE, which makes sense because it's funny how after we talk about their lack of big men, or do big men matter?
Watching him in that Rambo, he 6'9", he moved like he was like 7
I think he would
foot,
move better once he gets over there.
Get somebody behind him that knows how to really push a big man, especially in the WWE style. Yeah, I think it would be a wrap.
He going at the wrong time. He might want to be like, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
Well, he could probably still eat in New Japan, I would imagine, right?
Yeah,
I think
he go to the E and Vince coming back, boy.
Well, if he goes to the E and then it's immediately, well, who's your lineage and all this other stuff, because they're automatically going to go try and figure out how to work him in with.
They're not going to acknowledge him. Again, if Tangaloa was Camacho, a Mexican. You never
know. They may even try and shoehorn him in with the bloodline. You never know at this point.
He ain't no fun too.
You can't mix Tongans and Samoans. That's two entirely different things.
They got a whole white man as a star of the show, but you're gonna tell me you can't mix people in the Samoan group?
No, Vince will find a way to
like
do
our
it,
show. That's
gonna be problematic.
That's what they do was our show.
So you while at WWE is gonna do something problematic.
No, because they based on that. Hey, he did the race.
So it is what it is. You can't be surprised if
Kyle's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Don't be shocked if the Tongans walking around with the Anoa'i family as part of the bloodline. Just watch.
Now, if they do it in LA, it's gonna go up because Carson and Long Beach is connected.
Hikuleo's name gonna be Bloodline. Watch. Anyway,
you gonna say Mona.
Anyway,
What was y'all's matches of the night?
Match of the night.
You already know what it is. I don't even need to say
match of the night.
Huh?
Is it Ocean Spray?
It gotta be by default.
It has to be just because, even though I not just being a Jay White fan, I really like that match. I always like the matches between them. The one they added Dominion last year was good.
It's Ocean Spray.
But
it's Ocean Spray Omega.
And the thing about that is, Will Ospreay is going to win that title back probably at an AEW pay-per-view. Like, I think they did this with the terms like, you do the favor here, he does the favor there.
More likely.
Clean business, all that. And then maybe they have a rubber match at Forbidden Door. They just keep it at one apiece. And
whatever's happening, I'm assuming Kenny Omega's winning a couple more. He going.
I think it's Revolution. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega for that title.
But you, if he's a belt collector though, what would be the other belt that he picks up?
No, I think it'll just show. Again, they're winning those trios titles. That's a lock.
But
they'll have the IWGP US title and be like, once again, I am Kenny Omega, the god. Like Don Cal said, the god of professional wrestling.
The
MJF story ends with him and Kenny Omega, because Kenny Omega will be like, I'm gonna make you like Bryan Danielson. It'll be Kenny Omega's the guy who's gonna make MJF wrestle.
So Bryan Danielson's got to get him warmed up.
But it's still like months from that happening, though. I don't think they move. Like, MJF will face someone else at Double or Nothing, whether it be Jungle Boy, wait. Darby Allin, maybe Adam Cole if he's cleared. Hopefully,
Kenny Omega dropped the Mega Belt, and then Vikingo picked it up.
Yeah.
Do you think he goes back for that if he's collecting belts?
They said he's the one who's allowed to go back now.
That was the headline I saw the other day. So I think he runs
back belt collector like that. I think it was just like he's probably not going back to Japan until maybe next month. I bet he's not going to defend the IWGP US heavyweight title like that anymore.
He gotta bring it on TV first. You got to at least show
Oh,
up
that's
to.
that'll be the thing. Like, again, like Moxley had it on TV. Maybe he'll have a defense on AEW TV against someone who they'll allow. Like, he can challenge this guy, even though, like, no matter what, he's not going to lose the title. They're not going to do shady business like that. But at some point, Will Ospreay's getting that title back to get the win back, and that'll close the story.
I think we're probably got to wrap this up. I hate that this week has ended with me appreciating Kenny Omega
And
in Japan,
and
like,
Will Ospreay.
appreciating Kenny Omega in Japan, but hating him in America, like Bret Hart back in the 90s when I was a super Bret Hart fan. I felt like I probably should have been from Canada because America hated that man.
No, but what has fam said this entire time in terms of like Kenny Omega as the belt collector or Kenny Omega in AEW? They loved him over there. We loved Kenny Omega in Japan. We don't like Kenny Omega in America.
Some of y'all like him in America, though.
I like him in America.
See, this motherfucker.
And I just became a fan of him in America.
When, yesterday?
No, 2021 when he was getting the TNA belt and all that. He had that fire match with the god Christian Cage.
That's when you became a fan?
Because he wrestled Christian Cage and makes
exactly
because
when Christian Cage dropped his head on the damn chair. That was good. That was good. That was good.
Fire. That was a great match. And he said, "I'm a liar." Like who? Like The Rock?
LeBron James.
Omega,
how am I lying? I like Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega.
Christian's ill.
I just became a John Moxley fan this past fall.
You become a fan of everyone who you talk shit about. You just said MJF was terrible for almost 2 years, and then last fall you're like, "Damn, this boy can talk." Like
he think I can't change my mind as an adult male.
No, I'm saying like what did you send me yesterday? Oh, I might be done. Then here comes that arm drag. Like here comes that.
Oh no, today
drag.
definitely showed I'm done. Hey, everybody, I'm contemplating retirement.
Oh my god,
Wait, he retired last year. He gonna retire this year, and then they're gonna come back.
Not from podcasting.
Oh, from life?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about from podcasting.
When the fuck did this? What the fuck?
He just retired from some other stuff. I'm talking about from podcasting.
You just fuck your shirt up?
No, for some reason it's like ripped right here. I don't know why.
Oh shit. Well,
a shirt I can't get, but
I was gonna say because that's a
that's the only
and
piece of merch I've ever really wanted from y'all. I love all the merch, but that's the one piece I always really wanted.
It's merch I ain't got. It's a few pieces I ain't got. A few. I don't have the Coco Beware. He got the Coco Beware.
Yeah, but you got. I don't have a Hogan hoodie at all.
I got this,
and you have like 3 Hogan hoodies.
Nobody's got this. I got. Right? I got.
You got a purple, a gold, a regular. I don't have no Hogan.
Purple. I got a
purple.
I got a.
I think that's a rare.
Fam has a purple, I think.
Somebody's got a purple. I got a. Me and Fam both have blue Hogan hoodies.
Yeah, he was supposed to send me that, and I didn't get it.
I have a lot of Hogan crew necks. I have a yellow Hogan crew neck, a military green Hogan crew neck. Do I have another one?
Yeah, see,
I have a black Hogan.
Who got the Ron Simmons?
I don't have a Piper shirt.
Who has the Ron Simmons? I don't have the Piper shirt.
No, but I mean the BRP logo.
Oh yeah, I just got that.
But I think he only did XLs of those because he sent one that's an XL. I'm like, well, I can't wear this. I know who this is for.
I just got that. Ron Simmons?
I have a Ron Simmons.
You got the
Do
Ron
I have
Simmons?
a Ron Simmons? Just Ron Simmons?
In the Christmas pack, I got the gray and black classic Mania BRP logo hoodie. My dad got a black hoodie. My dad got the Roddy Piper BRP logo shirt, and I got the Ron Simmons shirt. That's it. Yeah,
the Ron Simmons shirt.
And we both got the 2 BRP Piper red hats.
Ron Simmons.
You don't know about the Ron Simmons shirt?
What's the Ron Simmons shirt? What you talking about?
I know about
Ron Simmons. It's just Ron Simmons.
Yeah, I asked Matt. Let me get that. I got you. I don't think
I have the Ron Simmons. I don't even ask. I just wait for what I get, unless I ask for something specific. Like I got a navy blue,
and I don't get nothing.
I got a navy blue slick.
I don't
have that. I don't have that. I don't have the Ron Simmons shirt.
Bro, I'm like the Jay Hood of the podcast, and I don't get nothing.
How did I not get the Ron Simmons? We got to get the hell. How did I not get the Ron
Actually, I might be
Simmons?
Drag on or Jay Hood this podcast.
No, I gotta talk. I'm part of Cody tomorrow, but I gotta talk to you because I got the 1 BRP long sleeve, but I never got sent a hoodie. Did y'all pay for hoodies or did y'all get them sent?
I paid. Anything I've gotten.
Okay.
I paid for. I wanted that one hoodie though. I paid. Did I? Yeah, I didn't. I think.
Okay, I wasn't sure. If it's like
I think Eve might have sent. Eve sent the long long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, I'm not the hoodies.
I paid for the hoodie, and the other one, the 5-year anniversary draw. Anyway, this was fun. Thanks for coming out, Edward Banks Leo.
I appreciate it, man. Record with Ben, 2 things on Public Enemies Patreon. Make sure y'all subscribe to that. So I got some material coming out then.
This guy.
What about tomorrow? Are we planning tomorrow?
You gotta be.
Yeah, I got it right now.
No, I'm recording with Cody Dre on Black and Out Sable's Patreon. Funny enough, we're doing for the 3rd straight year. We're doing worst of the year in wrestling.
That's it.
So you know what that's gonna be. You know me. You know what that is.
Yeah. FTR.
2 insane people having a conversation.
Cody, I'm starting off that conversation like, you know what, Cody, you are right. I feel seen because I am the same way. And he's gonna be like, my guy.
No, he be right about a lot of stuff. He started the whole Bring Back Vince campaign and look.
No, but I'm saying there are times to be outraged like that, and that was one of those times. Like I'm outright to be outraged about certain things, like. Cody Rhodes retired, bitch. That deserved it.
That's the only time you outraged is by Cody Rhodes and The Rock. They live rent free in your head.
No, don't you. And what happened to The Rock, huh?
He about to come back. Now he's definitely coming back because they got the money. They about to get the money to pay because they gonna owe the studios and himself and production companies.
That's the crazy thing is, at least. They say he's selling it to the Saudis who started Live Golf.
That sounded racial.
And the Saudi royal family or the hedge fund that's in Saudi Arabia, whatever it's called. But they are the ones responsible for Live Golf, which is the alternative to the PGA. And I was going to bring my dad on a few months ago to talk about Live Golf and the similarities between AEW and all that, like starting a rival. Can you do this fresh against something like the PGA, WWE that's been established for years and years? But if the people that own Live Golf now own WWE, it's just even more insane. So we're trying to make that happen soon. Again, this is year 2 of White Noise, episode 1. Catch up on year 1 on the Patreon, on YouTube. I've had the only special guests we had were the family. It was Mimi, it was Fam, it was Math, it was Sham. This year I might try to do some networking, break some bread, invite some people on who I've been wanting to invite on. I'm not good at booking guests. That's Cal and Banks's department on our shows.
Send an email, yeah.
But yeah, there are some people I want to talk about. Obviously,
we need Shoemaker on here.
Fuck you! I talked to David Shoemaker for 2 minutes in Dallas, and I was happy and scared at the same time.
Brother, you never know what you'll get out of life until you ask. So just ask. Pretty sure it can happen.
No, this man knows how busy he is. Like,
I'm about to say, good luck. You dreaming?
Because I was like, well, can you also get Sean Fennessy? Like,
yeah, I mean, you make your list. We can see what could happen. I'll tell you what.
I make the Cody Rhodes. I make the Cody Rhodes list of like people from the Ringer I want to talk to. Like, can you get Chris Ryan, Cal? Can you get a?
Hey, can you get Tierra James on here so I could be on White Noise?
No.
You first of all, you probably think she can come on the show here because of me.
I don't know.
I've been campaigning like, but it ain't working.
No, it ain't working.
No, I'm saying you think someone like me can get her on the show is what I'm saying.
I don't. No. This one, I don't think she on your side, brother. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I don't think she on your side.
In a way, they all kind of are. I mean,
that's kind of true too.
Jesus Christ.
But if I got a lie and say I got a white mom to get her on the show, cool.
I think Matt called you white the other night.
Why you say that?
You didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
Hey, my fault.
I said I host. I said White Noise is coming back Sunday, and we also do Banks versus Davis live every Sunday. And Banks is like, Matt's like, another white man. Like, in terms of like
crazy.
2 white men talking.
Fight him.
But I know I'll give you a little preview what next week will be. We'll be talking about TV and what one show in particular. Cal, you have to at least watch the first episode of Mick Weiningruffen's Copenhagen Cowboy on Netflix. Just the first episode you have to watch.
I'll watch it.
It's 6 episodes, so it's 6 hours. Just watch the first. I know you won't be able to make it because you'll be like, this is you'll be like, Drip, this is garbage. This is
Copenhagen
trash.
Cowboys.
How can you watch this? But it ties into White Noise, and we'll talk about some other shows that I've been watching and why. Again, I don't like TV like I like movies, even though Cal's like TV has the best stuff ever invented, like Sopranos and The Wire. But again, those are two shows I'll never fucking watch.
This shit is Danish.
Yeah. Well, Nick Ruffin is Danish, and he's the man.
But is it in English?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week.
No,
I haven't started it yet. I'm waiting to get this fucking show done so I can start it.
Word.
Banks vs. Davis live every Sunday on YouTube because this man doesn't like to promote shit he's on, like Random Acts of Podcasts, Public Enemies, where he produces all the Evil Geeks. I was on this past week. He's on Black Announce Table's Patreon with Wiretap. Shout out to the family. And the Brammies, that was amazing. Again, Banks vs. Davis Patreon, $5. You'll get exclusive bonus content like special episodes, movie commentaries, wrestling commentaries. That's stuff we can do on Patreon. And it's just to support us so we can keep the show running in terms of the StreamYard. We're not trying to get rich off it. It's just if you want to give back, we appreciate it. Again, subscribe at the BVD Pod. Follow on Twitter. My Instagram is Davis Colton DC. His is I Am Not Banks. His Twitter is at Pardon the Banks. I'm at Davis A.K. Drip on Twitter. Black Wrestling has Black Watch on Patreon every Monday. Black Wrestling Podcast / Reaction Club, where I'll join Cal sometimes to watch some stuff. Maybe we'll watch a Jay White match again, even not again for the first time, so you can see. So I can like do the telestrator, like, all right, pause the match right here, Cal.
Jeez, this is when you notice he was amazing.
No, there was a guy who did videos like that, and that's why I became even a bigger Jay White pick. It's like, this is brilliant. He's right. It's like it's like how propaganda works. Like, Turnbuckle Talk every Tuesday. That's Mimi Shells, and she has something in the works coming soon. Make sure you stay tuned. The shout to Corey as well. Mass, other rival.
Yeah, facts. It was fighting.
He got a lot of rivals.
Got a lot of enemies.
Got a lot of enemies.
What else do we have? Something else every Wednesday with Bam again and Love of the Vo.
Bulls in the China Shop.
Bulls in the China Shop with Semp and Vin. Again, it's the new year, so those two got to get together. I got to get Simp on White Noise. I got to get Semp has to stop by again.
Some other ideas. We'll see.
How I get on something else.
You gotta hit up Lola.
Yeah.
That ain't
Lovely LeBeau and fan.
I ain't no wrestler though.
They're right now. They're in their creator series. They just had Black Announce.
I ain't qualifying.
I'm not going to spoil.
You are the creator.
There's a very good creator that's going to be on this coming Wednesday show. Or if you're watching this from the YouTube app, you should go back and check out this past Wednesday show. But I'm not going to name who it was, but that person was mentioned during this episode. Anyway,
David Shoemaker.
No. I'm Cal at Cal on Twitter, at Black Wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BlackWrestling.com is the website, and as always, you can find the Black Wrestling Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you get your shit. We there. YouTube.com/Black Wrestling. You find this episode a week later. You go to Patreon.com/Black
Wrestling on YouTube too. Again, we don't do too many live episodes. I don't like to be distracted by the comments, but we'll do live episodes every once in a while.
It was the last one was fun. The last live was fun.
Because if you got questions or anything like that, but this is how you know it's a real BVD White Noise crossover, because this is almost in the running for the longest White Noise episode.
These motherfuckers going crazy. Shouts out to everybody checking out BVD every Thursday. Patreon.com/Black Wrestling. Pay the 1, pay the 10. You get content like this and a bunch of other nonsense. That's gonna be it. If you haven't watched Wrestle Kingdom 17, I highly recommend you do it.
This is half as long as Wrestle Kingdom.
We spoiled the whole show anyway, but
the point is watch that and then come back in here, because I mean everyone's already talked about it. No one's gonna talk about it anymore, but it's like, this is my thoughts because I didn't watch it until last night and this morning, and it was a good show. It's always a solid show. Like, again, it's pure wrestling, how it should be at times, even though I like entertainment stuff too, but like, it's good to have pure wrestling every once in a while.
Give me that real pro rest. All right, y'all. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, absolutely, Rick.